Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Goji Shore, the only podcast that we know of that covers an episode of Jersey Shore and an episode of a kaiju movie every single episode. I'm one of your hosts, Nick.
And we compare the themes. And I'm your
And
other
what's your
host,
name?
Jay.
We're good at this.
Yeah, we're not learning. We just
I
came
want
into
everybody
this.
to
We're
know-
just all naturals, baby.
This was our 10th take at this intro. And we would do it again, but the big big wheel of film that we record this on.
Yeah, it turns out
we're
Nick
almost
only
out.
has 1,000 hours left to record, and we're not sure we're
Yeah,
gonna have
you-
enough time.
Exactly. You might say, why are you recording a audio medium on film? Don't worry about it. Jay, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Nick. I am excited to talk with you about both Jersey Shore and Godzilla because Godzilla 2000 didn't quite prepare me for how truly bizarre the Godzilla verse is. And now that I've watched Godzilla vs. Mothra in 1964, I can't say I fully understand how bizarre the universe is, but I think I got a little closer than I did with Godzilla
Jay,
2000.
I hate to correct you right off the bat, but it's
is
not
it Mothra
Godzilla versus Mothra.
Godzilla?
It's Mothra versus Godzilla. Godzilla versus Mothra
Oh.
was in like the 80s. And that didn't cause me any problems while looking up things about this movie. Trust me. Audience, know that throughout this, we will probably get that order wrong repeatedly.
I hope we're talking
don't
about
know.
the same movie. Now that I think about it, I hope we watch the same movie.
That is why I specified the date when I talked about which movie we were doing.
It's good we did that. I did watch the 1964. As long as they weren't both made the same year, I guess we're okay.
That would be pretty good. But we are talking about Mothra versus Godzilla, as well as Jersey Shore Episode 2.
Which was
if
made
you
in
were just-
2009.
Made in 2009. Are there two Jersey Shore Episode 2s, Season 1 Episode 2s that we need to keep track of?
No. They didn't do like the Amazon G's to Gents thing where it was like episode 1 was actually episode 2 and episode 2 was actually episode 1.
I understand that reference.
It wasn't for you. It was for the G's to Gents fan out there.
It was for our one. Oh, are we continuing this bit? Our one G's to Jets fan?
Yeah, except I think
Well,
we
if
actually
you-
have a few of those. I know we have a few of those.
Whoa. Well,
Assuming
If-
our
if
friends
anyone is-
actually listen to this.
Our friends aren't listening to this.
Not yet.
If our friends listen to this, they're not really our friends.
Why is
Parse that one out. If you're joining us for the first time and haven't turned off already, thank you. Every episode we talk about a episode of the Jersey Shore and a kaiju movie. Not always Godzilla. Thus far, it's all been Godzilla, but we'll do other stuff, in the near future.
Yeah, look
But-
forward to 50-Foot Woman. I am.
Look forward to 50-Foot Woman somewhere down the line. I'll say what kaiju movie I have planned for next episode later on here. But we talk about an episode of Jersey Shore, we talk about a kaiju movie, and we try and find the united theme because there's a lot of podcasts that are already being made, and sometimes you have to really scrape the bottom of the barrel to find a new idea. And I think the bottom of the barrel has been scraped with us. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for being the bottom of the barrel with me, bud.
Speaking of the bottom of the barrel, do you want to talk about Jersey Shore, episode 2?
I always want to talk about Jersey Shore, so yes.
Is it called... The episode's called The Tanned Triangle, I believe?
Yeah. The Tanned Triangle.
What an episode title. And I didn't know what that meant at first, but upon watching the episode, boy do I.
What did you think it meant before I actually go into the Hulu description? The Tanned Triangle, what is your first impression?
I assumed it was going to be a love triangle. The problem is...
You didn't think it was going to be about, like, the Bermuda Triangle or something?
No, I thought that might be a little too much for episode 2. Certainly in terms of budget. But the problem is I assumed a love triangle, but everyone is so tan in this show that it doesn't help narrow down who it could have been.
You only knew it was going to exclude Vinny.
That's true. Though this episode did not exclude Vinny as perhaps much as I would have liked it to. Um,
Nick hates Vinny, everybody.
I do hate Vinny, and we'll get into it. It leads into
Nick
my
Nick
thoughts
Nick
of the
hates
episode.
Nick hates 2009 season 1 Vinny.
No, I hate Vinny in all
Do you
forms,
hate Vinny today?
and I am convinced that no amount of character growth will change my mind. Listeners, this is a comedic setup for like 20 episodes from now when I go Vinny's my boy or whatever. But right now I don't like Vinny very much. Um I so this episode,
Yes.
two big takeaways. Firstly, didn't like it as much as episode 1. Still good, but episode 1 I feel was like a perfect pilot.
Okay.
Second big takeaway. Man, these episodes cram a lot in.
Yes, they
I got to
do.
about the third ad break, and I'm like, are we about done? But no, still more to go.
No, in a good way or a bad way? Where you're like, is it finally almost over? Or where you're like,
Well, I continue to feel like, I think I said last episode, that taking notes while watching the Jersey Shore, it feels like you're studying for a test, but you're really drunk. So it's like it's almost hard to put things into notes because things just sort of happen.
yeah.
And I think that's beautiful.
I feel like Jersey Shore is that way for me. Maybe that's how it is for you. For me, it's like that's how history class just kind of works for me. Like things happened. I couldn't tell you exactly when, but I can tell you sort of what they were about.
So Jersey Shore episode 2 is like the War of 1812 for you.
Well, it's like the War of 2009 because I had to do research for this show. Because I had to do bare minimal Googling for this show, I at least know it was in 2009 and not 1812.
That's, you passed the first test. Do we want to start
Yes.
talking about what
I would like to give the
happened in this
Hulu episode description.
Oh, please do.
So, Hulu's description for season 1, episode 2, The Tan Triangle, is still feeling like the outcast. Snooki tells the others that she's leaving the shore, and the roommate's first night out at the club gets flirty, proving that the boyfriends back home might have something to worry about. And before we start, sorry.
Bad description.
That's what Hulu said.
Bad description because that description makes you think that this is going to be a Snooki heavy episode, and as
it wasn't
we will get
as
into,
Snooki heavy as Snooki
I was
heavy
disappointed by the lack of the Snook.
I'm always disappointed any day that there's a lack of Snooki in my life.
Or Snickers or whatever they call her.
Oh, I love her. I'm gonna say it right now. I like them all in various different ways. I definitely am biased towards Snooki, though. I really like Snooki.
I'm gonna say it now. I don't like them all, and Snooki's my favorite.
I know this.
I will say my other favorite gets some play this episode, and we'll get into that. But
I'm
Snooki,
excited to hear who your other favorite is, because I don't think you had any other favorite except for Snooki last episode.
To the chest. Been keeping it close to the chest here. But Snooki, I think, is a good jumping off point, because the episode sort of starts. You give us just a little recap, and then it starts with Snooki talking about how she's wanting to leave. She calls her mom and dad, and she's saying that she feels like she's worried that people think she's slutty and that she drinks too much. And I mean, I don't want to slut shame anybody, be who you want to be. I can see maybe why people feel that way, Snooki. You did pass out on those on those stairs last episode after getting drunkenly into a hot tub and trying to crawl around on everybody. There's perhaps a reason people might feel this way, but also I feel like she should be easier on herself because everybody's doing that in this show.
Yeah, I was going to say literally that's what a lot more people than her do that episode too. And so
episode 2 makes her look like an angel after episode 1. Yeah. Also
she is set up as a very good Hironi, I will say. MTV did her really good on that.
Hironi?
Hironi, A hero? I don't want to
A
say
heroin.
heroin.
It
Is it
is
heroin?
pronounced heroin. It is pronounced heroin. I
Oh,
know.
that sounds like the drug.
It is like the drug. I don't know why they're the same,
I should
but
have known
they
that
are
from
the
the
same.
Taylor Swift song. Damn it.
It's all right. Tay-Sway can't get you through everything.
Yeah.
Um, so I just want to make a quick note that we do have another appearance of the duck phone. It is too brief, but I did see they had a graphic for the duck phone now. When somebody's calling, it says who she's calling, and then you see the duck phone with flashing red eyes. And I like the fact that a graphic designer had to make that.
The the way that this show is edited is a character in and of itself, I feel like.
And
It's like the
that's my actual favorite character.
yeah, I think it's like the how many roommates are there? 7? 6? God, I lose track.
We should probably know this.
Okay, hold
Let's
on. We
see.
gotta do this for
There's
our
Snooki.
listeners. There's Snooki.
There's Situation. There's
Situ-
Sammi. There's Polly. There's Angelina. There's Vinny. There's JWoww.
There's one
And
more.
did I say Ronnie already?
You did not say Ronnie.
Okay,
So
so that's 8.
Yes, so there's 8, and I feel like the editing, just the editing itself of the show is the 9th cast member.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then there's my boy Danny, who we'll get into. But
oh, Danny's great.
the episode kind of gets going. The Situation is making a breakfast for Sammi.
Hold on.
Oh yes, sorry.
That's okay. I just need to point out, and I need to do a redaction actually from last episode. I'm sure that this will not be the first time, listener. It turns out I am human, and I am open to being corrected about things. So please, if I ever need to be corrected about anything, don't hesitate to yell about it to yourself, and maybe it will reach me. But we gave Polly a really hard time last episode for being so impressed about Sammi being able to peel garlic. And listen here.
I feel like I gave
shit.
Polly a really hard time.
Yeah, it turns out apparently that's actually way harder than I thought it was. I gave him a little bit of a hard time too, but then I was talking to a friend about it who actually knows how to cook, and I was laughing about it with him. I'm like, oh yeah, we were joking about how silly of a comment that was, and he's like, oh no, that's really good or whatever, because usually garlic's real sticky or whatever, and I'm gonna admit, he went into a lot of cooking details that goes I love that he's passionate about it. I cannot always follow it just because I don't do a lot of cooking myself, so sometimes the terms don't mean anything to me.
So when you were talking to your friend Chef Boyardee, and he was talking about how difficult it is to peel garlic, what does he mean it's sticky?
Garlic, I guess, is sticky. I don't know. I don't
Garlic
cook.
is not sticky.
Do you cook? Have you ever cooked garlic?
I have cooked garlic. Garlic's very dry. I mean, if you mash it up, it gets sticky, but don't mash it before you peel. Look, okay, I'm not going to dig this hole because there's also a very real possibility I've been peeling it wrong my whole life.
You've probably been eating the peel.
I mean, I've
if
been
you think
choosing
it's
to
not
eat the
sticky,
peel.
okay.
Jay, I pull the peel off and then just munch it down.
And then just eat it like the KFC chicken skin.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
Good. I'm sorry. We can actually talk about the episode now. I just felt the need to apologize.
No. I need to make all the chefs think I'm an idiot.
Oh, good. Please continue.
Oh yeah, so Situation is making breakfast. No garlic is involved because he doesn't know how to peel it. He's making a breakfast for Sammi. And Sammi, Garlic Master, is like, ooh, it's so nice. He's making breakfast for me. And they seem to be getting closer. I did not realize that this was setting up a house of cards that would come tumbling down by the end of the episode, and I was delighted. But, you know, they're doing their morning. Polly is convinced that he's on his way to work with Angelina.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentions that he's convinced that people will not buy t-shirts because it's raining, which I think is an interesting take. Because I don't think I've ever needed to go get a t-shirt or I've ever been walking along the beach and I see a t-shirt stand, and I go, well, I can't get one. It's raining. I
It's
think he
too
should be
bad it's
more
raining. I
concerned.
really like that shirt.
He should be more concerned that nobody will be out on the boardwalks because it's raining. But clearly that's not the case, because he starts selling shirts like crazy. He's getting custom, like,
No,
or no,
you're
he's not getting
getting them
custom shirts. That's the
confused.
situation. We'll
That's
get to that.
coming. That's
But
coming
Polly
later.
is doing well.
Yeah,
Polly is
he gets
doing
on the
well.
board.
Danny is like, good job, you sold one shirt. Angelina is awful. And this episode, I think last episode, I was like, Angelina seems like one of the more normal ones. I take it all back. Angelina is playing Game of Thrones on the Jersey Shore. It's delightful. She shows up, and Landlord Danny is like, hey, I need you to actually do the job you're supposed to be here to do. And Angelina is like, absolutely not. And he's like, okay. She's like dissing customers. She's like, oh, when you're done with being on your phone, I'll talk to you, you dumb bitch. And so he's like, okay, go stand over here and just put things on hangers. And she just keeps wandering around.
Yeah, she's like, not happening.
I started to write down that, wow, Danny's really, going after her. But I take it back. Danny was right to be going at her. She is the worst employee he could possibly have. And then she gets so upset at the idea that she has to work up to 8 hours.
Well, well, you know what? She does great things. And this is where I have a timestamp request.
More than once a week. You're working a lot more than once a week.
I feel like this job is beneath me. I'm a bartender. I do, great things.
I'm so glad you brought up that moment, because first of all, what does that mean? What does that mean? It
says everything. She does great things.
Bartenders have to stay in one place and do a job, and she can't do that. She must be a terrible bartender.
Booze is different from t-shirts, Nick.
That is true.
You don't have to hang booze.
How long is she working at the bar if an 8-hour shift sounds insane to her?
I don't know. Maybe it's not a bar that stays open very late.
She must be getting paid a good bit to make up. I guess, I don't know. I don't know what her living situation was before this. Was she one of the people who showed up with garbage bags?
Yes.
Okay, well, that might explain some things.
But, yeah, she is avoiding the sales counter like the plague.
Yeah, she hates it. And then we hop back to the house, and we see Sammi and Snooki, who are having a heart-to-heart of sorts. I don't really have much to say about this because it's a pretty short scene. It kind of seems more like Sammi is taking the opportunity to neg Snooki, like, really hard. Because
I mean,
she just lists all the reasons she didn't like her to begin with.
I will say, I get that. I think it's a thing of they're really young. They're in their early 20s. I get the feeling that a lot of them come from very blunt households. So I think Sammi in her own way was trying to be very nice. I don't think it was necessarily meant manipulatively or maliciously, but it does come off pretty harsh. It is like,
it would be like if...
I made fun of you for your pukey breath because I just don't like girls that get really sloshed.
It would be like if I was like, Jay, when I first met you...
Oh god, can we do this? Bad. Can we do this? Yeah, what laid on me?
I thought you smelled bad, your hair was whack, you were dressed like an idiot, and I didn't like you very much.
Are you making a song? That sounds like some sort of alternative punk song that you're just quoting.
But then, after I got to know you a bit, I didn't feel that way as much. And that was like all that I said. It's like... Notice she doesn't actually say anything nice about Snooki. She's just like, you're not as bad as I thought you were.
And I'm not gonna judge.
To answer your question, I wasn't making a song.
I really do smell bad.
It's true.
Anyway.
Audience, you're lucky this is just an audio medium. I mean...
It's not true. I smell great. I use that Vanilla Bee Noel.
Whoa.
I always smell delightful, I'll have you know.
I mean,
This
I
is
was gonna make
slander.
I was gonna make a follow-up. I straight up can't remember what you smell like, and that's probably a good thing.
Did you pay attention at all when the boys were at the gym?
My next note, thank you for saving me from having to describe the smell of my friends on a recording. I have, my next note starts with, now we're at the gym with the boys.
Good.
The situation reveals that the secret to getting muscular is protein. And I'm like, thanks, man.
yes, I love that. I love when he's like, they're talking about, he's like, yeah, when you go to the gym and you want to look fit like this, you gotta keep up you gotta eat certain foods. I'm gonna eat the protein bar.
I'm gonna eat this protein bar when I get back. And I'm like, thanks, the situation.
You know what, though? Something I kind of love is, like, there wasn't anything too plot relevant about the scene. I just really wanted to bring it up because I really love that at one point, like, situations like jogging backwards on the treadmill. And I'm like, the situation treats that treadmill like a lot of people treat the Gravitron fair ride. Do you know what the Gravitron is?
Vaguely, yeah.
Maybe it's called something different, regionally, but the Gravitron where I'm from at the fair, it is like this ride where it's like a UFO thing, and you actually go inside of it, and then the door closes.
Yeah, it spins.
Yeah, it just spins, and you can, like, move around on the little panels. You can, like, fight gravity, and you can, like, stand up, like, horizontally.
Oh, see, the one at the fair park where I live, they strap you in. You're not allowed to stand up. I guess because they realized that there was a chance that you would be flung as soon as it started slowing down.
I will, it's been a few years since I've actually been to my local fair, so maybe that's the case now, but last time I checked whenever I went to the Gravitron, they don't strap you in here at all. Was it always strapped in?
Wow.
For you,
I mean,
guys?
I don't particularly remember, but last time I was there, which was many years ago, they strapped me in.
Oh, last time I went, which wasn't too many crazy years ago, but they did not strap you in. You could literally just, like, flip upside down on that bitch.
Was it padded?
Feet up. Yeah, they were padded. They just weren't strapped. There was no strap, so if you got on a panel, like, a few, like, empty panels away from other people, you could, like, cross upside down. There would be people that would ride the whole ride with, like, their feet up in the air and their head on the ground up until, like, then it starts to gradually slow, so then you kind of right yourself up real quick before
Yeah, what if you don't right yourself
concussion.
Is my question.
If you don't right yourself, you're a
crushed?
dummy, and then you get your head hit for it.
See, I think that's why they strap you in.
Yeah, I think it's probably a liability thing now.
Yeah. Man, Alaska's wild.
But yeah. Anyway, I just thought that it was fun for me to see him having fun. I guess I like to point out the fun stuff that happens on the show too, not just people being jerks to each other. Sometimes
I'm gonna ruin it because I had a bit of a meltdown when fucking Ronnie.
Oh,
who
yeah.
I will say, Ronnie is my second favorite, despite what I'm about to say. Ronnie is currently my second favorite character, for reasons we'll get into over the course of this episode.
Oh, I'm excited to hear about it.
Is in the car, and he's bemoaning the fact about how he should have had sex with Snooki night one, or Snickers, or whatever he calls her. And I'm like, yeah, man, she really wanted to have sex with you, and you treated her like she was the most disgusting person you'd ever see. You treated her like she smelled like Jay. And that is... And I think that for him to then have the nerve, the gall, to turn around and be like, yeah, I should have tapped that night one. Shameful. You had your chance.
Yeah.
You had the best character here crawling on you, literally crawling all over you, and now you have the gall to be like, actually, I should have done that, even though I called her disgusting for wanting to do that.
You are not quite there yet, but now I am just picturing, like, how in the world the Jerseyverse which I shouldn't say the Jerseyverse because it's reality, but you know
The
what I mean?
Jersey realm.
How the Jersey canon would have played out in the Jersey realm, because Jersey is not a real place. You can't convince me.
It's like the Nether realm in Mortal Kombat. It's like, we must have a champion from the Jersey realm.
From the Jersey realm. How it would have played out
Only
if Ronnie would have got with Snooki night one and stayed with Snooki. Man, that would be a wild world to live in.
I'm sorry. I'm still just imagining. It's like, we must have our champion from Outworld fight our champion Snooki from the Jersey realm.
Well, I thought
Anyways.
JWoww was our Mortal Kombat contestant.
Well, JWoww is, because she eats her boyfriend's head.
She rips men's heads off.
Which, we'll get to that too.
She might be setting up Prey.
She might be setting up Prey. Which, okay, I have an addendum to make.
Yeah.
Well, it's not an addendum to me or a correction. It's more a correction I should have made last week, which is that praying mantises don't actually do that generally.
They don't, because I did not know this.
That's generally a thing they do only when they're in captivity. But I'm not the one who said that. JWoww said that. No, I did say that about JWoww. I believe.
Well, JWoww is in captivity. She's literally
That's true.
monitored all the time, 24/7. So
actually, it's a very good point. I take back everything.
We can still see a man getting his head ripped off with any luck.
That's right. One can only hope that we will get to see this. So, yeah, Ronnie says that.
What else does Ronnie say?
I don't know. I kind of just he said all that, and I saw red.
He said he would pound out Sammi.
He did say, okay, yes, he did say he would pound out Sammi. And
he says that right in front of the situation.
And the situation's like, nah, man, I don't have any competition from Ronnie. And I'm just here like, dude, your whole thing is that you're buff, and Ronnie is twice as wide as you. Situation throughout this episode is so confidently saying that he doesn't have competition from Ronnie and that he's not intimidated by Ronnie. And as you will see, it is clear Ronnie lives rent-free in this man's head. Because he talks about Ronnie at every situation.
I think he talks about Ronnie more than he talks about Sammi.
He does. He does. Also, I need to be careful about using the word situation.
Yeah.
But every opportunity.
Maybe you need to be careful. You maybe need to be careful. I might have a little bit more. I remember when I said I went on a deep dive rabbit hole. That's why we had to start recording later.
Oh no!
Just wait. But that's not for right now. That's for later. So, yeah, he says this to Mike, which, you know, the gall to be driving and say this to a man riding in the back seat, so he can't wring your neck or risk killing you both.
He couldn't wring his neck because there's no way Situation's hands could wrap around Ronnie's neck.
That's true.
There is no way. If he tried to garrote him, he'd need a jump rope. Also, Snooki somewhere in here says that she's ready to be single, and I'm like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you for a second, Snooki, and turns out I was right.
She was, you know, yeah, but she's also kind of more importantly, she's made the decision that she wants to try to stay. She's gonna give it another night and see how everything goes with the roommates. You know, kind of Sammy's convinced her by extending the olive branch of like, hey, you know, if you need a friend, I'll be your friend. So
Sammi told her she's not as disgusting as she used to be, and
yeah,
it's
that
the
was
nicest
enough.
thing anyone on this show has said to Snooki so far.
Yeah.
Including her parents.
No, hey, not true. Not true. You gotta be nicer to Snooki's dad, because at the beginning of the episode, she was on the phone with her parents, and he was like, hey, you know, if things aren't working out there, you're welcome to come home. Last episode, you grilled him pretty hard, saying, like,
he
does
grill
not
him
want
last
her
time.
home.
Because last time he really sounded like he didn't want her home. But this time her parents do seem to have turned a corner on it. So
now,
also,
Mike is... Oh, sorry.
I have one last little point, is Paulie is also talking about how he wished that he'd banged Snooki. And Paulie says that we'd make the cutest little Guido babies. And I'm like, don't ever say that about someone you're not actively in a relationship with. I think that's one of the worst things you could say about someone.
I get where it's coming from, but it always gave me the ick too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I I don't know. I kind of bat for everyone,
I mean,
obviously.
also,
but...
just have to mention, Snooki does drop an R-bomb in this.
Oh, yeah.
We won't be clipping that, and I looked over to my girlfriend while we were watching this episode. I'm like, well, we can't use that clip.
Nope.
But it was 2009. You know, it was a different time. It was a different place. It was the Jersey Shore.
Yeah. Oh my. Sorry, I'm just thinking about something I have to share with you later that I'm so excited about.
I'm very excited, but almost as excited. I have a clip
Oh.
because it's just a follow-up on earlier where Danny is talking about to Angelina, and it's talking about work and everything, and Danny cements himself as actually the best character in this show, because he goes ahead and just says to her, "I'm gonna fucking kill you if you don't get to work." And it's so funny.
Yeah, Danny's pretty peak.
Now I'm good. I'm gonna stay, enjoy this experience.
Jolie, I'm gonna kill you if you don't start hanging those shirts.
Stop!
I'm being serious now. You gotta hang them. You're almost done.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Okay, hold on. Before we continue, have you ever been told by any boss at any job you worked at that they were gonna fucking kill you?
No.
What do you think the worst thing any boss at any job you ever worked at has ever said to you?
I mean, I had that one, oh boy. Yeah, fuck it. I'll say this on the podcast. I don't care. I had that one boss who insisted that I'd been in the bathroom for 30 minutes and that he wasn't going to pay me for those 30 minutes, when both of the shop supervisors and all of my coworkers were like, we talked to Nick like 5 minutes ago, but the CEO was like, he was so adamant. And this guy sucked. He was bad at like everything. And a real dickhead. And I left at a certain point, and literally a month and a half later, the company folded. So, what can you say? That's probably the worst. That's probably the worst thing an employer has done, which is trying to steal half an hour of pay from me. But
yeah, that's pretty bad. It's not a death threat.
He didn't
but...
say he was gonna kill me, though.
Yeah. I'm just giving Danny shoot. I like him, but
has anyone tried to kill you? Has any of your bosses ever said they were gonna kill you?
I have to think about that. They might have jokingly.
You shouldn't have
They had
to.
some Danny energy. They had some Danny
energy. I don't think
energy.
you should have to think about if your boss has ever said they're gonna kill you.
Well, I don't know. I've been very fortunate to work in some very lighthearted environments where we all kind of joke around with each other. So it could have been a very Danny-esque somebody saying they were going to kill me. And maybe either that, or I'm just giving them too much of the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they are going to kill me someday, and I didn't. And I'm just like, oh, we joke like that here.
Well, if that happens, I'll have to find a new co-host.
That's true.
For this podcast, and that might be hard because
nobody knows like Jersey Shore like me.
Well, also, as soon as you describe the premise of this podcast, people say that sounds like a nightmare. No, thank you.
I think me and you are the only ones interested in tackling the things between.
One of our friends who will almost certainly listen to this. I won't say their name because I don't know if they would want me to, but you know who it is. They were getting upset because they found out that we were planning to do a podcast, and that we'd started doing a podcast, and we hadn't invited them. And they were very, they were disappointed that they hadn't been included. And then we told them the premise of this podcast, and they immediately went, "Yeah, I'm okay, actually. Never mind."
Oh, man.
The door's still open, bud.
Yeah, you want to join us for this?
If for some reason you want to be part of this, the door's open. That's not to all of our audience. That's this one person. If Jay dies, I might put out a message looking for I was gonna say new hires. I don't pay Jay to be here.
Will you threaten to kill them?
But it depends entirely on their performance.
Okay, that's fair. Speaking of performance on the job.
Yes.
Mike and Sammi work in their first shift together. Mike kind of kills it. Mike, the situation, I should say, for our listeners.
Yes. I also have to take a moment here to... I have another clip I want to use. I know we just had one, but there is a moment here where Danny makes fun of the situation's nickname, and
Does that come back to bite him?
I have to include that. And it's really funny.
Good. Ready to work tonight? Should I
Ready.
stand out in front for you real quick? Bring some customers in? Oh, yeah, you're the... What's your nickname? It's a situation.
I could sell t-shirts standing still. Matter of fact, I just sold one just right now.
Okay, but yeah, him being like, what do you call the situation or whatever whatever was he said is really funny.
Especially since exactly right after this, he actually gets like at least the editors made it look like every single female customer that comes in, he flirts with them and he gets them to buy panties that say "I love the situation" on the ass.
Oh my god!
And
he's
doing it a lot. I don't know if it's every customer in real life, but it was at least shown enough that he sold a fair amount of these panties. So props to him.
He's just showing his abs to people, just left, right, and center. I don't know. I'm not a woman on the Jersey Shore in 2009. But if I was going to buy a t-shirt and the guy at the t-shirt shop was like, "Hey, do you want a shirt or some panties named after me? Look at my abs." I'd be like, I don't know about this.
I
don't know
would.
if I want to be here.
I'd buy them just for the story.
I know you would.
I'd buy them to help
and then
him
you'd
out
watch
because
Jersey Shore.
I'd buy them to help him out because you know what? I'm convinced that for every pair of I Love Situation panties he sells, he gains another ab.
Damn. That can't be true because then he'd look like Ronnie. And we all know that's not true.
But he does sell a lot of these things, and Sammy's kind of impressed by this. She likes his salesmanship.
I just want to... So I wrote this note
Mm-hmm.
during watching this episode, not knowing where this episode was going, and in hindsight, it's really funny. So at this point, I write, "Oh my god, he's showing random women the situation. Hate it. He's the worst. I need this man to fall hard. These people have clearly not seen Ronnie."
You're one of them haters.
Which in hindsight is so funny.
So can I get into the deep dive I went into that has to do with the situation's trademark history?
Oh my god, please. Does he sue the women who got his panties?
No, what in the world? No, of course not. So, I mentioned that he had trademarked because I was reading various articles saying that he had, and so, this may end up being kind of a bit of a redaction, kind of, but sort of not. So, because I wanted to just get to the bottom of this. I'm like, okay,
Jay,
is this actually trademarked?
We made a whole bit last episode about his name being trademarked. Are you going to tell me that bit is now no longer valid?
I have to make sure he's not going to come for us, okay?
Okay, fair enough.
So I'm like, I better look into this. And it was just kind of interesting anyway. So he did, and so this show was recorded in 2009, season 1, and it, like I had mentioned the previous episode of ours, that it had taken off way more than any of them expected. They basically got, like, big celebrity status in like 1 year. So I think it was 1 year. Like I said, I was very young when the show came out, so maybe it could have been that they were doing episodes kind of like kind of airing them weekly while the season was still recording. I'm not quite sure how that worked back then. Maybe I'll have to look into that more. But either way, they reached way higher celebrity status than they ever thought they would from this. And so in 2010, because this was filmed 2010, Situation goes to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office to trademark the Situation nickname and name, And don't laugh
Do you think he physically went to the offices to do this? Or do you think he had like an agent do it?
I think he had an agent. Actually, I think he's a really interesting situation. He's a really interesting guy. I bought his book, Reality Check, which is kind of like his own autobiography. And Oh, it was a really good passage. I'm not going to share absolutely everything from the book because I really want to encourage people to actually go out and buy it themselves. But there's, I want to kind of do this thing or kind of share something I thought was interesting is when he was talking about, after season 1 was filmed, because they didn't get paid anything for season 1, they basically did it for, they got $250 a week for, like, alcohol money and for the clubs and stuff, and then they got paid whatever they got paid at the t-shirt shop. But then the executives were, when they were, like, trying to get them on for season 2, I think, were they trying to keep the same deal? Sorry, let me just read through this real fast. We might have to do a little pause break, or you might have to edit around this, sorry.
It's all good.
But I want to make sure I get these details right.
We're leaving it all in. We're leaving it all in.
No,
just
stop.
like your Super
I'm
Mario
prepared.
voice last episode.
God, I'm sorry, everybody. I really had only meant that as, like, them jumping up on the balcony and doing a Mario flip. I didn't mean that as in, like, oh, Italians Mario.
I don't think anyone would have taken it that way at all until you said it.
Well, I felt bad.
To be fair, I said it. I stuck you into this hole.
Okay, so yeah, they wanted to get them on for only a few $1,000s. And, like, they were, like, remember, these guys are in their, like, early 20s. And so they're kind of, like, I imagine, like, I'm in my 30s now. I can only imagine if, like, I was, like, put in front of, like, a bunch of big, like, network executives and, like, trying to work out business contracts on the spot. And it was on the spot. They basically, like, hey, we want to have a meeting with you guys. They didn't give them a whole lot of heads up of like, hey, we want to have a meeting with you. It's going to be about this. So that way they could maybe actually, like, talk to lawyers or things like that. It was kind of sprung on them, you know. So they called in the cast, like, we want to renew you for season 2. Here's the contracts or whatever. Why don't you sign them or whatever? And it was for a few thousand. And all of them were kind of hesitating, you know, because they don't really know the legalities of it. And I think the situation was the one, at least according to him in his book, was the one that stepped up and said, what if I don't sign this? Because he thought it seemed fishy. And they were like, we're just going to replace you. And he said, okay, good luck. And he basically called their bluff and, like, walked out of that meeting. And
that's so funny.
He still remained on Jersey Shore and, you know, became a huge celebrity and paid lots for it. So he kind of, from the beginning, wasn't going to let himself get taken advantage of in that way. Which I think was actually kind of cool.
Snooki could have absolutely pulled that too, because I'm kind of convinced this show would not function without her, even though she's not in this episode very much.
I think you'll be happy to know that Snooki ends up being the breakaway star. And I won't tell.
I'm not surprised.
She actually, I think, ends up being the cast member that gets paid the most, even more than Situation. I think Situation's the second and Polly's the third. Or it's either that or Polly's the second and Sitch is the third. But Snooki's the one who gets paid the most.
Is our logo doesn't have a reference to the Situation, but it has a reference to Snooki. So take that as you will.
But yeah,
and I think our show is really the benchmark of what does and doesn't work from the Jersey Shore, a show that was made over a decade ago.
So, yeah, he goes in 2010 to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. He gets denied because the Situation is too close to a clothing line called Situation. So he gets denied it. And so, and he also gets into some legal kind of battle with Abercrombie and Fitch because in 2010, Abercrombie and Fitch released a shirt that said "The Fitchuation." And which I don't think he did anything about at the
stupid.
You don't like you wouldn't wear a Fitchuation shirt?
I would now.
But they released the Fitchuation shirt. He doesn't even do anything about it then, but then a year later in 2011, Abercrombie and Fitch makes a big stink about Mike wearing Abercrombie and Fitch clothing on the show because I guess they find his behavior kind of bad or lewd or whatever, and they're like, we're worried about this, like, making us look bad.
No way.
Yeah.
His behavior bad and crude?
Well, that's what I don't know. I just found the hypocrisy a bit silly. Like in 1 year ago they were like using him to boost their own shit, and then like a year later they're like, well, actually we're gonna pay you to not wear our clothes. So they actually tried to pay the clothes to not.
Companies like that are always scummy.
Yeah,
you always have to remember that.
So, so I guess, so Mike and his brother, I think, tried to sue them over the situation, and I think that was in 2013, 2012 or 2013, something like that, but they ended up losing the case, so they didn't really get anything from Abercrombie and Fitch. So I can include the links to all of the websites I used doing this research, but I did want to share this one last thing before we continue. So I got curious myself because I had read in the articles that I was reading for this that Mike and his brother Mark set up something called MPS. I think it's MPS Entertainment. Let me make sure I have this right. Yeah,
it's like NPR, but very different.
It's MPS Entertainment that they made, and they tried to trademark several different things.
Oh boy!
So I would like to read you
Is
a
one
few.
of them protein bars?
It's on the official. No, it's on the official government site. Some of the terms they tried to trademark. I think maybe for clothing purposes. But they had the official Situation Nation. They had GTL. They had GFS.
Okay.
GTL stands for Gym Tan Laundry. GFS, I'm honestly not sure. I'd have to look into that.
Good fun siblings.
Good fun siblings. Oh, that would be so great. I would wear a shirt that said Good Fun Siblings.
I wouldn't wear it if it was Jersey Shore marketed, because people are going to be like, what's that mean? They're going to look at me real suspicious if I'm wearing that.
They tried Fresh to Death. They tried trademarking Sitch. GTL University.
Kim Possible had a firm hold on Sitch at this point. That's a fool. You're fighting the mouse at that point.
When was Kim Possible made? Before
Kim
2009?
Possible was early 2000s.
Okay, yeah. So, sorry, Situation. Kim had you beat.
I'm sorry.
Twinning.
You can't copyright twinning.
Twinning for
This
men's
is
and women's
madness.
t-shirt apparels. Grenade-free foundation.
A grenade-free foundation. Okay.
They have a few more that are just kind of repeats of like GTL.
Is a grenade-free
Gym Tan
foundation a
Laundry.
reference that I'm just not to yet in Jersey Shore?
Yes. You will come to know what grenade means. The last one I want to share with you, this was, like I said, this is on the the trademark government site that I was looking all this up. So the last one I want to share with you is they tried to trademark for namely t-shirts and underwear. If hating is your occupation, I got a full-time job for you.
That's good, actually.
It is.
I would wear that. I'd wear those panties.
Yeah, I'll get you a pair of those panties.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, okay. Here's my question. We've spent way too long on trademark
I just found it interesting,
but
sorry.
It is. No, it is interesting, and I'm about to make it longer. Do you think... I know we're only episode 2, but do you think we could get shirts made that say, peeling garlic is easy, actually, with a little picture of a clove of garlic?
Yeah, only if the little garlic has a poof or something cool.
And maybe on the back it says, but it's sticky.
I'm sure everybody will line up to buy that. We should trademark it quick.
Quick. Trademark the concept of peeling garlic.
But should we continue discussing the episode?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to share that. I thought that was fun.
Let me just make a note here of the point at which we stopped talking about, just so I can cut all of that. No, I'm kidding.
Fine, I thought it was interesting.
It is interesting. I'm not gonna cut your whole bit. Also, honestly, I'm just jealous. Or not jealous. I'm afraid because I don't have anywhere near as much information this time about Godzilla, or this particular Godzilla movie.
I think you say that, and I bet you whip out some weird shit. You have warned me throughout this week that you had some fun stuff to share. Yeah.
I do have some weird trivia for this one.
Sorry to the Godzilla fan that has to listen to all this. We will get to you.
Jumping back into the episode. The present episode, rather. Let's see. Oh, so JWoww calls up her boyfriend.
Yes.
And I write at the time, and I was correct in thinking this, that this is like lighting the fuse of a bomb. She says that she'd be stupid to leave her boyfriend, and Angelina says she also won't cheat on her boyfriend. I write, this seems like a setup. And the payoff will come soon. Because they all decide that they're gonna go partying.
Yeah, which really ticks off Mike, and I don't think Sammi was ticked off, or at least she didn't make any comment about it, but really ticks off Mike because
situation is upset.
Mike and Sammi they're working, and so the others are gonna go out without him for their first night, and Mike got butthurt that they were gonna go without him on their first night.
Did you make any note about the clothing that they were wearing?
I think the only note about the clothing I wore was when Vinny had like a little headshot interview thing, and he was wearing a shirt that said "I love hot moms," and I thought that was funny.
That's pretty good.
It wasn't if hating is your full-time job, but it was pretty good.
It wasn't whatever I said that garlic shirt was going to be. I've already forgotten. I do have written here that people used to consider this fashion. What an era. And JWoww also, she has like this really low-cut yellow top. Her titties fully out. It is just... I was like, I don't think I'm allowed to look at this.
Didn't you watch it with your girlfriend?
I did. I did watch it with my girlfriend. And both of us were like, damn, look at that.
I think you're not alone in that, so don't feel too bad or pervy, because JWoww's tits are going to get talked a lot about on the show.
Look, all I'm saying is, more than anything, I'm looking at that, and I'm like, I would not trust going out partying wearing that, because I feel like you shift the wrong way, and all of a sudden this show gets another age rating added to it.
That could be, but also, I don't know. I feel like people should just get to wear what they want.
I mean, they should be able to. I just know that if I'm on a show like this, the producers are probably there just sweating like, oh god, it costs so much every time we have to use the blur filter. We're going to have to use that to blur out middle fingers later in this episode.
I wonder, that's true. I forgot about the double bird that gets flipped later. You know what? On a note for our garlic shirt, instead of it just being a t-shirt, what if we made it that little crop top bra?
Yes!
We make it a crop top bra.
I love that.
In the JWoww style. Yeah.
Get your garlic cloves out.
But yeah, so they go on to the club, and JWoww and Polly are flirting quite a bit.
They're getting all over each other at the club.
I think she breathes on him at one point. She's like...
Yeah, she does a lot of closeness. And it keeps cutting to Polly talking about it in the floating head section. And he's like, yo, it's fucking crazy. She has a boyfriend, but that's not gonna stop me.
Not for long. Yeah. That's never stopped me before.
So they're going, and meanwhile, we cut back to the situation in Sammi. They're back at the house. Situation is starting to realize that maybe being home alone with the girl he likes is maybe a good thing. Except for she asks him, hey, does anyone here like me? And instead of saying, I kind of like you, or being like coy, he goes, well, Ronnie doesn't like you. Ronnie actually, he wants to fuck every lady, but he doesn't want to fuck you.
Can we do a timestamp here? Because I actually timestamp requested that exact clip.
100% we can get a timestamp here.
Any guys like me in the house?
I'm like, what? Are you serious right now?
I know guys talk. Like, let's go.
Definitely not Ronnie.
I don't know about Mike, like if he is just like a schmoozer or if he's really into me. So I'm holding back. I'm holding back a little bit.
What do you think about Ronnie?
I like him.
He's like raw.
You think
He's like
he's raw?
he says some like
Yeah.
Crazy.
He's badass a little bit. He doesn't care what he's gonna say.
He just says like some like I want to pound out every girl in Seaside type stuff. You know, that's how he is.
I'm trying to pretty much block Ronnie with Sam. I don't necessarily feel bad. I didn't even think twice about it.
Because I love how the situation cannot get Ronnie out of his head.
What do you think about his method? Like, do you think, like...
Well, I mean, I know how it goes. Not well. I don't think his method's very good at all.
His method of just, like, instead of just being honest about how he feels about her, and just being like, not Ronnie, he sure doesn't like you.
Okay, Jay,
He smells. Or she smells.
Let's do a little bit
He
of
thinks
role.
you smell.
Let's do a little bit of role play here.
Okay.
Shall we?
Yeah, that's fun. I like D&D.
Yeah, imagine you and I are sitting up on a rooftop, right,
Mm-hmm.
at the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
And imagine I'm like into you, but also our buddy Ronnie down there, he's into you too, and I don't want you to be into Ronnie, right?
Yeah, sure. Well, I don't know this because I assume I don't know this in the roleplay
You don't
scenario.
know this. But
Am I wearing a good shirt in this scenario? Am I wearing like a cool garlic crop top?
You're wearing a garlic shirt, yeah.
Good.
Probably one that would sell for like $20 online.
And I smell phenomenal. I smell like vanilla.
I mean, this is a fictional setting, so yeah, I guess we could say you smell phenomenal.
Okay, go on.
So in this setting, I'm into you, and I'm wanting to show that to you.
Okay.
And you ask me if there's anyone in this group of people who we live in prison with, who likes you. And I respond with, oh, no, not Ronnie. Ronnie, actually, he's not into you at all, actually. And that's all I say. Will you A, think Ronnie likes you, or B, think I like Ronnie?
Oh, that's a tough one. I didn't know you were going to hit me with a multiple choice. I thought this was like going to be an open-ended sandbox.
No, this is a telltale situation.
This is a tough one because, okay, I gotta put myself in the space of my 20-year-old self, and I'm on the Jersey Shore partying for some reason. Because I have a lot more confidence in this 20-year-old fantasy version of me.
You're about the age of Polly D, so you don't need to imagine you're that much younger.
That's true. It could just be me now. So I could be 30-year-old me. You just told me, I just said, hey, does anyone like me? Because I'm hoping maybe that you're going to say, oh yeah, me and Ronnie spoke and he's mad into you. But you don't say that. You say, not Ronnie. But me and you have kind of been sort of flirting a bit in this scenario.
I made you breakfast.
You did make me breakfast.
And you peeled my garlic.
I peeled your garlic very well. And, do I think that you like me or that you like Ronnie? I would think you're a closeted bisexual. I would think you like us both, but you don't know how to make both work, so you just have to try to keep us away from each other because there's no possibility of a throuple. It's just either, and you gotta be in an endgame with one of us, either me or Ronnie, and so you gotta just make sure we don't get together. That's your goal.
Okay, interesting. Because yeah, this whole time I'm like, are you into Ronnie?
He does talk about Ronnie quite a lot.
He talks about Ronnie almost nonstop this episode.
He talks about Ronnie more than Sam talks about Ronnie.
He talks about Ronnie more than Ronnie talks about Ronnie.
Ronnie doesn't talk about anybody, I think. He's been pretty low-key so far.
Well, he said he'd bang Sammi.
Oh, that's true. He did talk about all the women he would pound.
Or should but that's pound. Right, not bang. Pound. Which I'm like...
I like to imagine he's talking about fist bumps.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, he just wants to give his buddy, his roommate Sammi, just put her there.
Well, something that's a little less ambiguous is that we then cut to JWoww and Polly, who are both lying in Polly's bed because she follows him up to his room, and we find out penis. Yeah, we find out that Polly has a pierced penis.
He says nobody knows.
This is not surprising. Also, I just
How are you not surprised, Nick? He said nobody knows.
So on the subject of that, I wrote a joke that I'm just gonna read off here. Let's just
good.
give it a moment to breathe because it was good enough. I'm like, I need to write this down. I wrote, "Now all of China knows your penis."
I thought you were
Like
gonna
that
tell
bit
me
in
a
Mulan.
knock-knock joke.
Like that bit in Mulan where the guy's like, "Now all of China knows you're here."
I thought you were setting me up for some sort of knock-knock
Can we-
joke that
can
was gonna
we,
go, knock-knock, who's there? Penis.
Could
Penis
we
who?
could we get some t-shirts made of "Now all of China knows your penis"? Can we do that? Can we get some made?
No,
I say this like-
no, we can't because
Uh-oh.
and
Oh no.
'Cause
The
they
producer
already-
said no.
no, because the situation his brother already tried to trademark that.
Oh no!
I'm just kidding.
The situation knew in advance.
He does. He's always one step ahead. He's a shrewd business guy. You gotta watch that.
Damn it, it's all those protein bars he eats. But yeah, JWoww and Polly, it's not entirely clear if they have sex or not and they cut away from it, or if they're just kind of fooling around. She definitely sees his dick.
Yeah, they make out. I think that's shown.
Do you think that these characters partially are wanting to fuck just because they know the cameras will have to turn off and they'll get a moment's privacy?
I have some inside fun information about all of this that I cannot share yet because there's other things that are going to get revealed to you and I have to wait for those things before I can
Is
share.
there sex later in this show?
Who could say?
Well,
sex
what
in
I can
my
say,
shore?
what
Sex
I
in
can
my
say
Jersey?
is not in the Jersey realm.
Not in the Jersey verse.
Into the Jersey verse. What I can say is that JWoww says she thinks she technically cheated on her boyfriend. No, you just cheated on your boyfriend, girl. Like, there's no technical about that.
Yeah, I do not think I don't think anybody would be very happy to hear that their partner was like in bed with somebody else making out with them. And
Well,
it
they
was
get to
not
see it too, because now it's on reality TV.
Yeah, that's not great. Especially
No,
back then,
Yeah, I don't.
I don't think it'd be
think there's a
great
technically
now.
about that.
I don't think it'd be
No.
great now, but it would. now
Now
it
it'd
would
be a
be like
TikTok.
now it would be the Coldplay situation. It would come out way faster. But you think about that back then, if they aren't getting released as much, if nobody in the house is talking about it, nobody knows about it until it gets aired, that could have happened in the past and you don't know about it. So like, let's say like your girlfriend cheats on you, you don't know about it yet. There's no way you could know. And then you're just like with them, which happens all the time, happens every day. It's a shitty thing. People cheat on each other. But the way that maybe you find out is that it gets released weeks later on national TV. Like, I don't
That's
know.
rough.
That's pretty wild to think about.
You get to hear her talk about how he has a pierced dick.
And who knows, I don't know. I wasn't there in the situation. Maybe she told him beforehand after, like, hey, I really screwed up. And maybe he knew before it aired. I don't know that. But,
We might get to find out.
yeah, I should do some more research maybe for my podcast I'm talking about.
Well, so Snooki also finds a boy pal, whose name I didn't catch.
Yeah. I
And-
did. Let me see where I wrote it down. Yeah, his name was Robbie.
Of course it was. Robbie and Ronnie. This is gonna be real confusing for me. So yeah, she has Robbie come over and he's kind of hanging out and everybody's like, "Whoa, Snooki found a guy." And then that doesn't really go great because then Robbie has drank too much and he starts just puking all over the place.
Yeah, and I want to touch on like her guy roommates really giving her some
Yes!
shit for her guy she brings home throwing up. It's like,
Well, before that, they have the bit where she's like, "We're not banging. Who do you think I am?" And Ronnie and Vinny just stare at her in silence.
They
Just a
do.
stony silence, and then it cuts.
yeah. They're definitely doing some early 2000s slut shaming for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and they're getting weirdly mad. They're getting really weirdly judgy about this guy. Like she's like, well, he's upstairs and he's throwing up. You know, he drank too much. And they're like, why is he throwing up? And she's like, I just said he drank too much. You know.
Well, as we know from coming up here soon, Vinny would never risk something infectious getting around to the rest of his friends. Vinny is really on top of all that.
Oh yeah. So, sorry,
before
go
we
on.
get to Vinny.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, no, you go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say before we get to like kind of the next night, because this is all I think one day maybe. Angelina, I think we gotta at least kind of mention her at the club. Also has a
yes.
Yeah, you were gonna talk about that too.
Yeah, I was going to mention that she hooks up with a giant man, as they describe him.
Do they hook up? I know they're at least grinding. Away. They're grinding on each other.
They kiss a bit.
Do they? Okay, I didn't catch that.
Well, at least they get their faces close together. I don't know. They kind of cut away, so it's not clear.
My favorite is that when they're grinding or whatever, and he very loudly shouts, "Can we go somewhere more private?"
Yeah. My favorite bit is that it then cuts to her floating head after they're like, yeah, you were like with this guy, and she's like, I don't remember that. That's like crazy. And then it cuts to her by herself in the interview. She's like, yeah, everybody's saying I did that, and like, nah, absolutely not. And I'm like, you're full of lies. You're a deceiver.
You have deceived us.
You're a damn dirty deceiver. Yeah, also, Snooki continues to be great. She puts on a big old hoodie and walks her guy friend.
Yeah, she's making
David
sure he gets
Daniel
home
or whatever you
safe.
said his name was.
Robbie,
walks him home, and then he tries to kiss her, and she's like, no, you
she's
have
like, she does the Sammi, sweetheart, you got pukey breath, don't get your pukey breath on. She's not that mean, she's nicer about it, but...
and the guy is just clearly out of it. He's like, yeah, okay. And then Snooki disappears for the rest of the episode.
Which is a shame.
At a certain point in this episode, I was like, wait, we haven't seen her for a while. Where is she? It's a small house, and she doesn't show up at all.
She's in that big hoodie.
Yeah, she's hidden. Yeah. She's like E.T. in the stuffed animals. She's just hidden in a pile of laundry.
Yeah.
So the next day, famously clean and germ-free Vinny wakes up and says, guys, I got pink eye!
Something you missed, something we didn't say is that, like, at that club last night was that, yes. Vinny was, like, dancing around with, I think, a lot of people, and there's one particular girl who's kind of, like, really getting down on the floor, and she's got her legs spread, and he kind of Superman slides underneath.
There's an older lady. I say older in the sense of she's not 20.
Yeah. And she's like, getting down, and at one point, like, she's on the dance floor, her legs are spread, and he Superman, like, slides underneath, and maybe that, who knows, it might be
Ronnie
from that, it might not,
insists
but...
that he got a shit particle from her shaking her ass above his head. And I'm like, I mean, that seems rather unlikely. It was probably from the fact that he was sliding around on a bar floor. That's probably more likely. But he gets pink eye, and he tells... every single person he could possibly tell.
Did you count how many times Vinny said pink eye in this episode?
Oh, no, I did not.
My friend told me I should, and so I did. I'm like, that's a very good point, because I did watch this episode.
Can I guess?
Not today. I watched this episode a while ago, but I rewatched it today to remind myself. But I watched this with a friend.
Can I guess how many times he says it?
Yeah, please do. Wait, hold on. You gotta know the parameters. I didn't count any time anybody else said it, because all the other people say it too. Just Vinny himself.
27.
No, you're kind of way over. It's okay. A lot, but not that much.
9.
Closer, 8.
Oh, I almost said 8, and then I was like, no, 9. Why am I upset? It doesn't matter.
You snuck in an extra pink eye.
Yeah, as I'm known to do.
Oh, gosh.
But he goes and he tells every single person. And I love that Sammi is just like, yeah, get some medicine. Like, it's just pink eye, dude. But he's treating it like it's like the worst thing that's ever happened.
I agree. He is being such a drama queen about it, and also, in his defense, I do the exact same thing, because I have had pink eye before, and I was like, I have this thing afflicting my face, and it feels like the worst thing when you're having it, even though it's really not. I do it.
You do.
I do.
You texted me telling me when you had pink eye. Keeping in mind, we live in different states and would not be seeing each other anywhere close enough for this to be relevant
I'm
information.
actually worse than Vinny. Not only
Jay,
do I tell
never
people
say
what
you're worse
effect
than
I won't
Vinny.
I won't tell people that it doesn't affect. So
Vinny, we
yes,
don't know. He might have been on that duck phone calling
Vinny
everybody.
does deserve shit for being a little drama queen about it, but also I've been a little drama queen about it. So I feel like, there's room for everyone at the table.
Well, and I just like the fact that he goes to Danny the landlord and is like, Danny.
Oh yeah, because he works for him.
I have pink eye. I can't come into work. And Danny goes, I think rather reasonably, cool, man. Can you get somebody else to cover your shift, please? And Vinny's like, oh, man, even though it's a medical thing, I gotta get somebody else to cover my shift. And this leads to a whole disagreement negotiation where he gets, I think, Angelina and
Sammi to split the hours, but
Sammi,
not the
yeah,
full
to split
extent of
the
the
hours.
hours.
And, yeah, it's not the full amount of time. And Angelina's like being real difficult about it because she doesn't like the concept of working. And Danny's like, sure, man, whatever. And goes with it. However, we then cut to Vinny in the hospital. He gets his pink eye looked at, and they like really zoom in, like, this is where all the pus is. And I'm like, I don't need to see that. But then he's like, guys, good news. The doctor said I can still go out and party. And I'm like, go to work. Angelina is going to be so mad when she finds out that you were out partying and made her cover your shift.
I think it was Sammi. Angelina was the one who was like, I'll do an hour, and Danny said, don't bother.
Yeah, well, both or either of them. I'm like, if you can go into work, tell the person whose free night you're taking.
That's true. He could do that, or he could party.
I mean, he wouldn't because he's Vinny and he's awful.
Well, who knows? Maybe he did say, double me up on shifts, and I actually want to believe him on that because behind the scenes, Vinny and Ronnie actually almost left her in season 1 because they weren't making any money. So I do believe Vinny did genuinely want to work.
They should have been making money. It is insane they were not.
Yeah. So I think they almost both left during filming of season 1 because Vinny had just graduated school, so he probably had student loans he had to pay, and he wasn't making any money there. And then Ronnie, I think, was a real estate agent or something at the time, so he was actually taking real estate calls.
Imagine you're looking for a house and your real estate agent shows up and it's Ronnie.
I would be too scared to tell him I didn't want the house.
You're like, oh, where is he? I hear you want to buy the house. And you're like, oh my god.
You take my money.
Also, speaking of my theory that Situation is into Ronnie, Situation says that is trying to convince us all that Ronnie isn't even a threat, and he says Ronnie is probably in love with me too. And I'm like, okay, bud.
Oh, yeah.
It's 2009, but I know how you feel.
You sent me on a tilt-a-whirl thinking about Ronnie and Snooki earlier. Now I'm wondering how the Jerseyverse would have changed if Ronnie and Situation would have got together.
In a different world.
In a different world.
In a better world.
In my fan fiction.
So Sammi and the Situation.
Yeah.
They start kissing a little bit. They start getting like a little close. I don't remember if they actually they like almost kiss.
Oh, wait.
And this becomes a plot point later.
Hold on. Before we get into that, we gotta tell them where they went, because I have something to share with you that I'm so excited about.
Oh, yeah. Tell me.
They went to a club called Bamboo, which will be a reoccurring club I think they went to Karma the first night, but they might not have. I am sorry. I did not double check.
I made no note of where they went. So I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
I don't know. So I'm going to try to do this thing going forward where I try to look up a review for each club they go to, because I found gold with a Bamboo Club review that I want to share with you.
Oh my god, please.
So this is on tripadvisor.com where I found this column, and there was a couple of good ones, but this one took the cake and I had to share it with you. This was made on August 12 of 2015, so it wasn't during the filming of this. This is quite a few years later, but Marissa made a comment about the Bamboo Club that is titled Comedy Club, and she wrote, "This place made me laugh. We walked in around 11:30 to 12 p.m. and it felt like it was 2 p.m. The place was empty. About 30 minutes after, it got a little busier. On the dance floor, you could find an old lady that had way too much to drink, an old guy on crutches, and another old guy on a wheelchair with blinking lights all over his ride. Not that they can't have fun, but that's not what I was hoping to see." And I was like, are you kidding me? That sounds like an insanely fun night at the club. If I saw a guy on the dance floor in blinking light decked out wheelchair, are you kidding? That's sick.
So, are you also making a list of all of these so that when we inevitably go to the Jersey Shore one day, that we can go to all of these places?
Oh, yeah, I hope so. Can we, please?
I think, look, all I'm saying is, if people buy enough of our garlic-themed t-shirts,
we can do
maybe
it.
we'll do a special where we go to the Jersey Shore.
And go to each club.
Is the house still there?
Yes, and it's very expensive to rent, but you can actually stay in it. I think it's
my
like an
God.
Airbnb now.
Okay, we shouldn't talk about this on the I might cut this bit out. Jay,
Yeah.
we need to, for our 100th episode, rent that place and record an episode in the Jersey Shore. Editing Nick here. After this, Jay and I went on a deep dive involving how much it would cost for us to both get cameos from all the cast of the Jersey Shore who are on Cameo, as well as the possibility of us going and staying at the Jersey Shore house. The answer to this is a lot. And for the, for the sake of time, we're just going to cut all that out. You're not missing much.
Yeah, so back to our episode. So anyway, I'm sorry, I detracted us because I was very excited to share about the dancing man with the tricked out wheelchair. But yeah, they're at Bamboo, and Mike and Sammi kiss.
That's true. Well, they kind of kiss.
Mike kisses
Sammi.
We'll get into later. The situation kisses Sammi.
So the situation, yeah, he kind of starts trying to, get it going with Sammi. And so they try and hook up. Meanwhile, JWoww and Polly are just going at it. She puts his face down by her crotch. They're kissing and he takes off his shirt. And then when the world needed her most, she vanished.
With his shirt. Did you see
that?
As
to not cheat. I didn't notice that she took his shirt. That's really funny.
She walks home with his shirt.
That's so funny.
Not him, notably.
She takes his shirt, and then we cut to a floating head segment where she's like, I didn't want to cheat on my boyfriend, which I'm like, girl, you are already in the deep end on that. Cheating's not okay, but if you're already doing that, you might as well just go for it, because you've already put a man's face into your crotch on TV. You can't pretend to high road now. And then she shouldn't go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's a little bit more nuanced. I still think it's cheating. She shouldn't go for it. But
it is still cheating. My thing is that she treats it like she caught herself.
Oh yeah.
Before she started, I guess is more what I would obviously.
I get
if you just kiss someone, don't then take that as a route to be like, well, might as well go all the way because she did a little. But my thing is more that she treats it like a, I really caught myself. Good,
that could have been
good
bad.
Job, yeah, that would have been real bad. It's like it's already real bad.
It's a little, maybe just break up if you want to hook up with other people.
But did you catch, perhaps, what her solution, what she was deciding to eat and drink to deal with how much she'd been drinking?
I believe it was water and ham. Was it?
It was water and slices of, like, lunch meat ham. And I said, there's no amount of ham and water that could stop you from having cheated already, girl.
Water, yeah, a little bit of cheating, no problem. Just add a little water and ham and good as
it's
new.
like aloe vera on a sunburn.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, but now we get to the good shit.
Do you think water and ham is a good drunk snack?
I don't think water and ham is a
It
good
doesn't
snack
sound
for any
appetizing. Yeah, I was gonna
circumstance.
say, it doesn't sound appetizing to me at all.
No. I mean, I like ham.
I don't
But-
think I like just slices of lunch meat ham.
I mean, it's not ideal. Like a thick cut of ham, maybe with some sort of, like, glaze on it. That'd be pretty good.
You think so? I don't know.
But-
Maybe I'm just like not a raw ham kind of person.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, that's cooked ham. It's not raw. But, like a cold cut ham, yeah, I can see that. See, I like, not to get off topic, but I like a ham. I have this recipe. It's like a slow cooker ham, and you have it with, like, this pineapple mustard sauce, and it's so good. And I would eat that while hungover. I'd eat that any time of day.
Interesting.
If anyone wants a t-shirt with my special pineapple ham recipe on it, it'll be $20 to $25.
Quit trying to
online.
commercialize this podcast. Not yet. It's too young.
How else are we gonna afford filming in Jersey?
I don't know. It's probably
Um,
coming out of pocket, if we're being honest.
Well, we can.
much
No,
much
no,
like
it'll
my
be all
medical
t-shirt
bills.
So, well, now this is sad.
Sorry, let's talk about
okay.
Jersey more.
Now we get to the good stuff. We get to the tan triangle, which is that Sammi Twist, while they're out at the club, says that she thinks Ronnie is hot.
Mm-hmm.
And she starts getting all up into Ronnie's business.
Oh, they are
and
grinding.
Ronnie's a little confused because he's like, I thought she had a thing with the situation, but he's like, well, Ronnie got to grind. And so he's grinding on her, and the
Mhm.
situation looks like he is about to implode as he watches Ronnie effortlessly ruin his life.
I don't know if Mike is more sad about the loss of the potential of him and Sammi or the loss of the potential of him and Ronnie, but he
It's
is sad
both.
either way.
He's crushed. Both of his romantic options taken by each
It
other.
could have just been a very sexy tanned throuple.
A tan
no.
triangle.
Yeah, it could have been a tan.
Um,
The tan triangle could have just been the three of them.
That could have been an Urban Dictionary definition if they'd done that.
They could have trademarked it like GTL.
Oh my god. Do you think we could hit Situation up and ask him if he wants to trademark? We can make that. If anybody wants a t-shirt of
You
Tanned
can, for
Triangle, it'll be
300
available at
for
$20 to $25.
For $300, you could go on Cameo and just, instead of telling Situation what you want in video, just ask him a question. There's no guarantee that he will respond, but I guess you could have a way to send him a question if you want to
That's
spend
true.
$300.
I'm sure you can find his email, or you can send him a message on
I don't think you
social
could find
media.
his. I think you could find his agents, maybe.
Who's probably his brother.
Either that, or I have
Mark
a very
Situation.
skewed perception about how to access these people. Maybe I'm just like, they're so big,
Mhm.
I couldn't talk to them directly. Probably,
So,
right?
The Situation is furious that
Mhm.
Sammi is hooking up with another guy, forgetting the fact that he hooked up with another lady in front of her literally last episode. And then he's all sad, and there was grainy tragedy montage footage of all the good times he had with Sammi in the day and a half, 2 days they've known each other.
You're preempting a bit. I mean, not by much. So before we get to the montage, because that is excellent. So yeah, Sammi and Ronnie dance and they make out, and she's definitely like switches to Ronnie after that, and so he
She
gets very.
hardcore switches to
Oh
Ronnie.
yeah, she right turns. And so yeah, and then Mike gets pretty upset about that. He's kind of yelling at her in the club. She flips him the double bird that's got to be censored, at least on Hulu.
Mhm,
If
mhm.
if you're a cool nerd like me, you buy the DVD sets, and then you can see the full fingers.
I watched it on Disney Plus.
You
Because
watched
for
Jersey
some
Shore
reason
on
it's on
Disney
Disney
Plus.
Plus. For some reason, Jersey Shore's Snooki is a Disney princess, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Disney Princess Snooki. I love that. Yeah, so yeah, he's getting really. He yells at her. She kind of is like, "Hey, we weren't really a thing, we weren't official. I'm not committed to you. I can do what I
She
want."
should have said, "You fucked that girl in the hot tub 2 nights ago."
I know she's she's not being very offensive with this accusation. She's being just very defensive of like, we're not together. I can do what I want to do. Go
I feel
do
like
you.
Sammi just does not care about any of this.
Well, I kind of don't blame her. I mean,
Oh, no, she's
what
right.
are your feelings on this? Like, Sammi and Mike were flirting, but they're not official. And then Sammi gets with Ronnie right in front of Mike. Like, what do you think about all this?
What do I think about her choosing
I mean, like,
Ronnie
do you
situation?
think it was like,
I won't call him Mike.
yeah, is the situation. He would prefer
Out
you
of,
call him the situation.
out of respect for the situation, I won't call him Mike.
Good.
I think that Sammi has eyes, and this is not a surprising outcome. Like, it's honestly shocking it took her this long. Because she also says, she's like, let's see here.
Do you think there was do you think she had any obligation to the mic, to the situation?
No, I don't think so. And they talk about how like they were really close. They've only known each other a few days.
Yeah, if that. It might even be just like 2. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
like,
what the time span is on the editing.
Time works differently in the
Jersey verse. Yeah. It moves slower, I think.
It's short enough time that not all of them have worked at the t-shirt shop yet. So
but
I think that she is right to be doing. Honestly, she should be bringing up like, bro, you've had sex with another lady while you've been here. Like, you need to.
I don't
think
he had sex. I think he maybe made out. I can't quite remember, but I don't think he's had sex yet.
I can never tell because I'm like, they obviously aren't going to show us them having, especially if it's like a random person, not somebody on the show. Oh, Jay. Oh, Jay's making a face. Okay, maybe I shouldn't assume.
You should not assume.
On Disney. On
my Disney Plus.
On
my
Disney
Jersey.
Plus?
Sex in my Jersey.
Make room for Ronnie.
Oh well, that's gonna have to happen.
Well, so also.
Yeah. Oh, go on.
I can't remember if this happens before or after the sad boy. Oh, we used to have such great moments.
You gotta wait on the sad boy thing. That's literally like the last thing that happens.
No, there's 2 montages because there's a montage at the end of the episode too that we'll get to.
Oh, what's the first montage? Because maybe I don't know what the first montage is.
It has like grainy footage, and it's just like sad music playing over like clips of him and Sammi having moments together, and I'm like, this is really funny.
And I'm
like, this is really funny. And then they have the end montage, which is the best thing I've ever seen. But they also have a bit where, and I might be getting a little ahead of myself, but they go back up, they being Ronnie and Sammi, go back up to the roof. And they're laying on the big bed that Snooki passed out in last episode. And they're like laying together, and Ronnie's like, so I'm like totally down to pound you, but I kind of thought you had a thing going with the situation. Like, what's going on with that? And she's like, we didn't even like kiss. I just kind of did one of these. And she does like this little like
she starts kissing him.
Of the mouth kiss. Well, it's like an off kilter kiss. And then Ronnie being like, what I think is one of the few charming-ish moves they've pulled so far of anybody here. He's like, oh yeah, how about you do another one? How about another one? And they just start kissing.
See,
and then assumedly the situation is just off screen with like smoke coming out of his head.
That's so interesting because I clocked this situation totally different. Like
the situation.
Gosh dang it!
Every time.
But no, I clocked it as like. So I don't know. I think it's funny. It's the same. it's the same scenario, but I think we both clocked different things about it, because I do, when you talk about it, it was kind of a cute, charming thing, you know, they were being very flirty, they're in their early 20s, it was kind of cute, but something I noticed that kind of gave me ooh, was that, like, Ronnie is literally, like, Ronnie is like, you wrecked him, and Sam was like, I did not,
Yeah.
and he's like, you ruined his life, and I'm like,
I have a clip of that. I have a clip of that. Hang on. Because he says the line, you crushed his life.
Mike will kill to be in my shoes right now.
You crushed him tonight. Do you realize that?
I was never his
Yeah, but you
thing.
crushed his life, like. Like, he doesn't know what to do with himself right now, like. He's hating life.
And I think that's really funny.
yeah, and I'm just like, dude, so if I, like, in the scenario where I'm wearing, like, the garlic crop top, and I've landed some sort of, like, you know, I've landed some sort of Ronnie, and then and I'm like, you know, and I'm, like, getting with Ronnie now, and he's sitting there talking about the other guy, like, you crushed him, you ruined it. I'm all like, no, it wasn't like that. And he's like, yo, you ruined his life. He's so sad. He wants to kill himself over there. It's like, dude, chill out. Like, quit
I
making
think he
her
was
feel
into me
bad.
and he was into you.
Yeah. Quit making her feel
This is
bad.
double heartbreak.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that so funny? Isn't that cool? And I'm like, and she does laugh too, so I can't sit there and say it's all Ronnie, but it's like,
Look,
quit
I
making
would
her
be
feel bad.
with you. I would be with you, but the situation, his whole crash out this episode is the best thing that happened this episode, and I was so excited about it that I cannot blame him. If I was Ronnie, I'd also be doing it.
You were like Rome when Caesar fell. You were so excited.
Oh my god, I stabbed him so many times.
But yeah, he is very upset about everything that's transpired.
Well, there's also the bit where the situation brings him.
Oh
Vinny,
yeah, they get into a fight at Bamboo. So they get into a fight with like some people there that I guess are just, I don't know who's, I honestly don't know who started
they
it.
say that these are guys who have been
Yeah.
messing with them all night, but we haven't seen that. And then Polly just fucking punches a dude in the face.
Yeah,
and breaks his nose.
the
apparently.
guy I guess pushed Vinny, so then Polly punches
Mhm.
him, and they get kicked out of the club.
With the situation.
Yeah, so the situation's with Vinny and Polly, and they're kind of walking down the street, and they're like, but we know how to salvage any situation.
A roving band of hot girls shows up out of nowhere.
Exactly 3, so one girl
Exactly
per guy.
3 hot girls show up out of nowhere. And I'm not saying this was
Show up out of
staged.
nowhere. They're just walking on the street, a boys behind them, and they're
They
like,
just
"Oh,
walk up
wait,
behind them.
girls!"
I'm not a Pokemon fan, as last episode showed, but it does feel like you're walking through the tall grass, and it's like 3 hot girls have showed up. Bum, 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 bum.
3 hot girls appeared.
Yeah, it's like a Doug trio, but it's 3 hot girls. Is that a Pokemon? Did I get that
That is,
right?
and I think you used it correctly. Doug Trio, I think, is the bird with 3 heads.
Oh, I thought that was the 3 Diglets.
Oh my god, you're right. I'm not the Pokemon fan. Oh my god, I can't believe you corrected me of all people
We
on
have
Pokemon.
it on recording. We have it on recording,
you
ladies
guys
and
don't
gentlemen.
understand that I will never ever
This
be
is
able
the
to hear
first
the
time
end of
this
this.
has ever happened.
Nick is not a Pokemon fan. I grew up
I don't
playing
know
Pokemon.
nothing
I don't know
about
how this has
Pokemon.
happened.
But apparently you're not a Pokemon fan either.
I guess not. Damn. But
you don't
yes.
even know the difference between a Charmander and a Charmeleon.
What's the difference, Nick? You can't look it up.
One of them is bigger.
Damn, got me again. You are the
Hell
Pokemon
yeah.
expert.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so 3 hot Charmanders are walking behind them, and
3
they're
hot
like,
Charmanders walk into a bar.
and no, they walk into the street behind 3 Jersey guys, and so they're like, hey, babes, come home with us, and they're down for it. So I guess all's well that ends well, or you would think. Because even though Mike still gets a hot girl to go home with him, it still shows him like at either sunset or sunrise on his porch, looking into the distant sky, and it's just he's clearly
Now, Jay,
distraught.
you've gotten ahead of yourself this
Oh,
time
did I?
because
What
you're
did I
forgetting
miss?
about another clip that I'm going to put in here in a moment, where Angelina, who has decided that she's going to be the Cersei Lannister of this world, of this show, she is like, oh, they're up there? I'm going to go and make their day ruined. And she has the quote,
Oh yeah.
I'm a cockblock, not gonna lie.
I do love it. I'm sorry. I love her kind of.
Well, she also has a line where she says something. She's an absolute menace. She goes up there and starts just being like, oh, look at all these sluts here. Look at these disgusting women you've brought back. Aren't you going to come down and hang out with us like roommates to Situation and Polly and everybody? And they're like, bitch, what are you doing? And then she has another interview line where she goes, if a girl's a slut, she deserves to be abused. And I'm like, oh
yeah,
my God.
I forgot about that. I don't know how
my God. Even for the time, that's intense.
That's pretty bad.
Angelina wants to watch these men burn. And she's willing
She
to
wants everyone to burn. She wants these men to burn, but she also wants sluts to burn, it seems.
Well, and then Situation is like telling her off in the kitchen afterwards, and he's insulting her, and she says something about like, I'm better than all those girls. Look at me, I'm hot, and this is all natural. And he like fat shames her, which is hilarious given how all these people look. All of these people,
they're all
do
hot.
not look overweight at all. Like,
they're all hot and fit.
Totally fine to be whatever is considered overweight in 2009. But like all of them look great. But then she threatens that she will cut his hair while he's sleeping. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I think she will. We were saying that JWoww was gonna eat somebody's head off and like decapitate them, which, watch out, Polly. But Angelina might actually do it.
I don't want to get too ahead of us, of ourselves for a lot of stuff, but I do want to drop a little teasing tidbit here of things we might get into years and years later.
Teasing tidbits.
Is that I think Angelina's... it's been so long since I watched Family Matters, but I think her either mother or her grandmother is like a witch.
On Family Matters?
On Family Vacation, sorry.
Oh my God. I was like, wait, what is the lore
Family
here?
Vacation is the reboot from like years later, because they after season 6 of Jersey Shore, obviously they start going their other ways because they start getting different priorities and families and things like that. But they come back, I think it's like 10 years later or something, and start filming again as like 40-year-olds. So
man, I'm so looking forward to it. So she's related to... Yeah, Angelina, if anyone on this group would kill someone in their sleep, it would be Angelina.
Mm-hmm. And we love her for it.
And then we kind of get to the end of the episode here, which is the funniest possible way they could have ended the episode.
Hats off to the editors.
Oh my God, the editors...
You killed it. You guys killed it. This was great.
Because the Situation is remembering all of his times with Sammi for the second time that episode. And, like, sad music begins to play over it. And I wish I could have recorded my live reaction to realizing that the credits were playing. Because I was so delighted to realize that the credits were playing over the Situation's misery. It's so funny.
Oh my gosh. The only way it could have been better is that if they did the whole... I don't think this will mean anything to you, Nick, but for anybody that's watched The Perfect Match on Netflix and they saw that Juliet crash out, if the editors of Jersey Shore had just intermixed the Situation times Sammi montage along with clips of like seagulls flying and dolphins leaping out of the ocean.
See, I was thinking that the only thing that could have made it better is if the music was just, I will remember you.
Will you remember me?
I would also accept Seal's Kiss from a Rose.
Oh, no one could do it better than Jeff and the Dean, though.
Jeff and the Dean, yeah.
That's for our community fan.
Oh, that our one community fan.
Our one community fan. So,
I know you're listening, Donald Glover.
please hit us up.
Oh my god,
please.
Donald Glover, if you're listening, hit us up. We need you to buy some t-shirts so we can go film in Jersey.
Donald Glover, I will buy your ticket to Jersey Shore if you come hang out at Jersey Shore.
Oh, 100%. You know how I said earlier that this wasn't an invitation for any of our fans to just join in? It was just that one friend. It's that one friend and Donald Glover.
Donald Glover.
Not Danny. Don't listen to Jay. Jay, don't listen to Jay.
I got a lot of slips of the tongue.
Not Danny Glover from Predator 2.
No.
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover,
if you want to
this
join.
is for you.
Do you think Donald Glover has watched all of the Jersey Shore?
I like to think everybody does at some point in their life.
Do you think Donald Glover is a big Godzilla fan?
I think so. He strikes me as somebody who would like it. I don't know why. He just does.
Well, I guess my follow-up question would be, do you think Donald Glover is a big fan of Mothra versus Godzilla?
I think he's Team Mothra, as everyone should be.
Interesting. Well, actually, I don't know where this segue is going. We could talk about Mothra versus Godzilla now.
Hooray!
I mean, unless you have anything else you want to say about the Jersey Shore. I was so confident going in with that segue. I was so confident. I was like, Donald Glover is going to be my key to making this
Donald Glover's going to be the key.
Yeah, but, sometimes it doesn't work out. And sometimes you just have to have an abrupt cut straight into the next segment. Anyways, speaking of Godzilla and Mothra, I have to start this section by making a slight correction to something I said last week.
Ooh.
That being is I said last week that I said that this was the first appearance of Mothra. And basically as soon as I hung up the call, realized and remembered that that's not true. Because Mothra, the giant moth, of which is probably Godzilla's most famous fellow Toho kaiju. King Kong isn't a Toho kaiju, so that doesn't count. It's from RKO. But Mothra actually began in a movie of her own. I want to say 1962.
Oh, so just 2 years earlier.
Let's see. Yep, 1962. 1961. It was released in America in 1962. But Mothra had her own movie. Mothra was made by Toho basically because they wanted to make a kaiju movie to appeal to women. Because they were realizing that there were more and more women who were becoming part of the Japanese film-going audience. And they were trying to appeal to that. So they released Mothra.
They're like, you know what women like? Women like moths. Women like laying eggs, right?
Here's the thing. They were fucking right. Because Mothra made a lot of money.
Mothra is pretty tight, I will say.
Mothra made enough money that Mothra then got top billing in the 1964 movie that we're talking about today, Mothra vs. Godzilla. Which I think for many Americans is probably, like me, where they think Mothra is from. I had known that Mothra has her own spin-off movies, but I had thought they were just that, spin-offs. I did not realize that this is actually the first case of Toho having two of their monsters cross over to become kind of one monster universe.
Do you think this is one of the... I don't know, you're more of a film guy than me, and maybe you don't have the answer either. Do you think this is, one of the earliest examples of crossovers? And the crossover genre starting?
It's certainly an early example. I mean, this is sort of the type of thing that nowadays is considered very normal. Marvel does this all the time. DC, they have the Monsterverse now, which is the American Godzilla movie.
It's kind of like the Jerseyverse.
Yeah, it's like the Jerseyverse, yeah. The Monsterverse is sort of this nowadays, and that's been going for over a decade now, which is crazy to think about. But at the time, this was kind of odd. I mean, there was like the Universal monster movies had already been doing this. And you had like Abbott and Costello versus the Wolfman and all that. But crossovers in movies were not overly common rather.
To be honest, I don't know how you feel about it growing up, and I feel like you're a few years younger than me, so maybe your experience was different. I feel like crossovers in general, just as a thing, I didn't really take stock or notice of them or really see them a whole lot until like I was a teenager. I did not see a lot of crossovers as a kid, except for the occasional, like, if Disney would do a crossover, like, oh, the Sweet Life twins are meeting Hannah Montana or something like that. It was very rare and exciting.
They weren't around as much. Now I feel like crossovers are like all over the place, but there was like your Alien versus Predators. Those movies were around in the early 2000s, and like I feel like comic books did it a lot back in the day. Like you'd have Terminator versus like RoboCop or something. Dark Horse Comics did a lot of that. But and I mean Godzilla's been doing this for a while. The Godzilla movie that came before this one, which we will certainly get to eventually, is the original Godzilla versus King Kong, which in itself was a big crossover because Toho doesn't own King Kong. So they had to kind of make arrangements that. And there was like Who Framed Roger Rabbit was around before we were kids. And so like it existed, but yeah, you're right. It wasn't as common. All that to say, Mothra, very successful in Japan. It made a lot of money. Not as successful when it was released in America. And so that is part of why it is called Mothra versus Godzilla, is first of all, Mothra is the hero of the two monsters. And secondly, that Mothra at the time was considered to be popular enough that in Japan she could headline this movie. Now, later on, in the movie Godzilla vs. Mothra, you might notice that's flipped, because at that point Godzilla was solidly Toho's moneymaker. Mm-hmm. But, fun fact about this movie going in, and I have a few fun facts, but when you were looking up this movie, you may have seen that some movies, or some streaming services and such, have this movie listed under a different name. And that is Godzilla versus The Thing. Because I guess at the time, when they released the movie in America, there was the idea that Mothra, a giant moth, would not be exciting enough to get Americans to go see this movie. And so they were thinking to themselves, well...
So we'll trick them.
We'll trick them. It'll be a mystery of like, ooh, what's Godzilla gonna fight this time? And I find it very hilarious, given the fact that, as we will discuss, Mothra is in this movie a whole lot before Godzilla is.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no mystery.
Godzilla versus The Thing, and The Thing, it gets revealed within, like, what, the first 7 minutes? 8 minutes? I don't think it's very long.
It is very quickly they say the name Mothra, and everybody knows what that is. That's also why everybody in this movie knows what Mothra is, because this is a sequel to both Mothra and the previous Godzilla movies. So both of those are canon in this world.
Okay.
Not that you need to have seen the previous Mothra. Yeah. I haven't seen the original Mothra movie yet. I'm a fake fan.
I mean, it sounds like you didn't even know it existed until you did research for this episode.
I knew it existed. I thought it came out like 2 years after this.
Oh, okay. So you thought like this was Mothra's first appearance, and then they decided to do a spin-off movie for Mothra.
Mothra's had a lot of movies. Yeah, well, Mothra's had a series of movies. In different canonicities and such. Like there's been at least 4 or 5 Mothra movies, I want to say. I haven't watched any of her solo movies, so that's going to be fun for us in this. Huh. I know she has one where she fights a version of King Ghidorah, which is like Godzilla's arch rival, so that's kind of sick.
I wonder what they're fighting over. I wonder if it's Japan.
Maybe. You haven't gotten to see King Ghidorah yet.
No, I don't even know who King Ghidorah is. No name comes to mind. I'm imagining like a King K. Rool situation where it's kind of like looks like Godzilla but just a little bit off, and maybe he's got a cool crown.
No, not quite. King Ghidorah is a big 3-headed golden space dragon.
Oh, that's sick. Everything
King
you
Ghidorah's
just said
kind of
sounds
awesome.
exciting.
King Ghidorah is really cool.
A
Ghidorah will
three-headed
show up before
golden
too long.
space dragon.
Yeah, don't worry, we'll get to Ghidorah soon. Of the Godzilla monsters, that's probably the third most famous one.
Huh.
And then after that, there's a lot of fighting for the fourth place. But I think Ghidorah is solidly third place in most, like, famous.
Sorry, I was about to say
No, go
something
ahead,
dumb.
go
We
ahead.
should not come to me. You should continue on because I was about to say something utterly stupid.
All right, well, speaking of utterly stupid,
Yeah.
let's get into talking about your first Showa era Godzilla movie, which is this classic era of Godzilla.
Can I start with a fun
What'd you think?
J-fact? I
Yeah.
thought it was great. I will say, preluding to actually watching it, which I thought was a fun J-fact. I don't know if it actually adds anything, but right before I went to go watch Mothra vs. Godzilla for the first time, I discovered that the spiders in my house had caught a moth somehow, and it is wintertime in Alaska, so I have no idea how there was a moth in my house, and I have no idea how the spiders caught it. But it seemed like a bad sign.
Well, did you see two
It seemed like
small
a bad
fairy
sign
women?
for a good movie. Huh?
Did you see two small fairy women running around?
No, I was looking. After I watched the movie, I go, maybe. But no, all I knew was that the spiders were getting a little too comfortable around here if they're catching GD moths in the middle of winter.
Yeah. That's surprising.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a fun fact for me to share with
I
everybody.
didn't have any moth-related experiences.
But yeah, I
So-
liked it a lot. It was, I did not realize the Godzilla verse was quite so bizarre because, you know, I'm a kaiju monster movie newbie, so I just kind of, whenever anybody says, like, Godzilla to me, in my mind, I'm like, okay, big monster stomping around Japan, radiating everything, like, that's Godzilla to me, and I did not realize there was almost like a fairy tale-esque like logic to this universe where it's just like, okay, there can be tiny twin women just running around that speak Japanese, but nobody. It was unclear to me whether this was uncommon or not because they do not seem very phased by it. However, there is a businessman that offers to buy them, so that shows that maybe there's some sort of maybe this is not the norm. So I was very unclear on what the norm is in this world or not, or what's known by the people in this setting or not.
I am so excited because, like, when we watched the original Godzilla movie, that is like a very serious, kind of grim sci-fi movie. It's about the horrors of nuclear weaponry. It's a really good movie. And then very quickly, the series becomes just insanity.
Yeah.
In watching this movie, because I have known about the Shobijin and Mothra and all this for so long, that didn't even click as being particularly odd to me. This is one of the normal movies from this era.
Wow.
Because there's some crazy shit that happens later on. That this movie doesn't have some crazy shit.
Oh, it has plenty. Something that struck me, or a thought that I had as I watched it that maybe you'd have more insight to, is that it made me wonder, because this is 1964, so, like I said, I'm gonna make myself sound sort of dumb here because I'm not a film guy, but it's like, this movie struck me as maybe they had learned some cool new, studio tricks, so to speak, on how to film things. Like, maybe this was, one of the first times where, hey, we figured out how to make women look, or, we figured out how to make tiny people on the screen at the same time as big people. Let's, somehow, that wasn't in the script, but let's incorporate that somehow because we want to, blow people's minds in the theater with these visual effects. So I'm wondering if there's, a bit of that.
I have some facts about that.
Ooh.
You are not wrong. We'll get to that as we get to it, but this movie, some people consider this to be, the high point of this era of kaiju movies because of this movie had a bunch of really talented people working on it. It had Ishiro Honda, who's the guy who made the original Godzilla movie. And it's got wow, what's his first name? It's Ifukube. The guy who did the music, Akira Ifukube, who did the original Godzilla theme, and he did Godzilla music for years. And it was that whole like kind of team of people and all the effects guys and everything had all come together to make this movie.
Oh, okay, so it was like the
And
Grand Slam All-Star roster.
This was, I mean, a lot of those people kept working on Godzilla, but it was more of like, this was that classic era where they really hit their stride. There's a lot of really impressive technical stuff we'll get into. I guess I haven't said if I like this movie. I think this movie's pretty good. This is not my favorite Godzilla movie. It's not my favorite Godzilla movie of this era. But this is a pretty good movie.
I enjoyed it a lot, yeah.
I have some problems with it that we'll get into, but I think, especially on a technical level, this movie is kind of awesome. But I'm also a big fan of like miniatures and models and all that. We should probably get into the movie though, because
yeah, sounds good.
right off the bat, speaking of miniatures, there's some absolutely great, and I will be praising the miniatures in this movie the whole time, but there's some really good miniature destruction off the bat, as there is a typhoon that is called Typhoon 8. I don't know what that means, but
it means that there were 7 before.
There were 7 typhoons that happened before this. Of the year ever? I don't know.
There was only 7 typhoons ever.
But it is, messing the place up and off the shore, as a typhoon does. And we then find I write her down as a perfectionist news photographer by the name of Junko.
Did it say her name ever in this film? Because I did not ever catch her name, and I was genuinely looking for it on the subtitles, because we watched the Japanese
IMDb.
version.
Yeah, so we watched the Japanese version. There will be far fewer
audio
clip
clips.
Cutaways, because
there will be a few good ones though, because
there's a couple.
Yeah,
but we don't have as many because I'm not going to track down this movie in English. But yeah, Junko's not great at photography because her, I guess, boss, supervisor, I'm not quite clear what their relationship with, but Ikiro, who is nominally our lead, I guess, shows up and is like, hey, I need you to get pictures of the devastation. Have you gotten any? And she's like, no. And she's just staring at this big chunk of debris. And she's like, I gotta get it perfect. It's like, girl, just get some shots. What are you doing?
Yeah, and it was very reminiscent of Godzilla 2000. Like, we're opening in on like a photojournalist that's apparently not very good at her job. And like needs to rely on others to tell her what to do.
There's unfortunately not a hyper competent little girl who's going to be able to help us out here.
No, but yeah, it was interesting. Being my I guess this would be my 3rd Godzilla movie, 2nd for the podcast. But it was interesting to have the recurring theme of like kind of approaching Godzilla from the human point of view of a journalist team, sort of a journal science team up, I should say, because it
will not be the only time that happens.
I'm wondering if this is going to be a recurring trope.
I can think of at least 2 other movies where that happens. Yeah.
But yeah, she's like fixated on this particular pile of rubbish because there's like a big giant. To me, it doesn't look much different from the trash around it, but it's like, to her, it's a very shiny green, pretty object. Yeah,
so in my notes, I write basically like a question mark of what that is, assuming they will eventually tell us. They never do.
They never do. My assumption is it was a Godzilla scale just because...
It's a piece of Godzilla, yeah.
Anytime, exactly. That was just kind of my assumption, because I'm like, okay, well, if they're taking the time to make the viewer know that this is important, that's got to be like a Godzilla scale or poop or something Godzilla adjacent.
I looked into this, since this movie takes place after Godzilla vs. King Kong, where Godzilla gets his shit rocked a bit. I've seen people saying that maybe it's like a piece of him from that.
I like
But
that
I'm
idea.
not sure if that's true or if it's supposed to be a scale or what. But in my head, as we'll see in this movie, Godzilla's not on his A game, and I have the headcanon that Godzilla is nursing a concussion this entire
Yeah,
movie.
I was gonna say that would make a lot of sense that would explain a lot of Godzilla's behavior in this movie
He
because
just got
it
his
is.
shit rocked.
I said this to Nick before, but I'm like, I feel like this movie should have been titled Mothra versus like 30-foot toddler because he does
30
not
feet,
act.
come on.
I don't know how big he is. How big is
It's like
he in this
130
one?
feet. Okay, so I was hoping you weren't going to ask me this. I
pre-warned you last time. Hey, we should probably give people a scale of these kaijus.
I looked into this. I was having a really, really hard time figuring out how big these monsters are supposed to be. In this particular movie. So, Mothra is, in her original movie, I'm going to just real quick do myself a favor and get meters to feet pulled up. In her original movie, Mothra is labeled at being 80 feet long at the body.
Well, I was
not
off.
80 feet, sorry. 80 meters long, which is 262 feet. Her wingspan in the original movie, apparently, is 250 meters or 820 feet.
So for our own reference, these people are dwarfing 50-foot woman.
Oh, massive compared to
Okay.
50-foot woman. Now, I am having a really hard time finding how big Godzilla is supposed to be in this movie. Let's see here. Godzilla height. I need to get a quieter keyboard.
I like that. I hope your keyboard sounds show up in the recording. It lets people know
they
you're
do.
human.
So, apparently, in King Kong vs. Godzilla, Godzilla is about like 150 feet tall.
Okay.
So that can't be right because Mothra in this movie is not that much bigger than Godzilla.
Mm-mm.
So I don't know how
There's
big
not a
they're supposed to be.
There's not a consistent scale, it seems.
It seems like, generally the Godzilla fandom is pretty good about giving me these heights when I'm like looking into it. But if anyone knows, let me know.
This is what was it? Mothra versus Godzilla versus the Thing.
Yeah, or
This
Mothra versus. Yeah.
This is Godzilla versus the size ?
Exactly. Because the other thing is that would mean that she's substantially bigger than most of the Godzilla monsters from this era, which seems wrong. Though she is pretty big in this movie. I don't know.
This does lead me to another question, but I almost wonder if I should save it because we haven't got to talk about the actual movie much.
We haven't gotten very far now. Well, so we cut from Junko and Ikiro, who find this thing and are like, that's weird, and kind of find out a little bit about how they're sort of investigating the situation, and we cut back to their news headquarters where a man eating an egg who probably has a name, but I never heard it mentioned.
Ichi.
Hmm?
Ichi was his name, and you know
Ichi.
why? Because I spent a long time thinking Ichi was the leader of this. I kept getting confused about, like, I don't know, the trio, because there's a scientist, there's Ichi, and there's Akira. I never knew Akira's name until you said it like a minute ago. Is that his name?
Ikiro? Yeah.
Ikiro? Is
Yeah.
that how you say it? Okay. So it's
believe
Ikiro,
so.
Ichi, and then a scientist guy. Can we talk about the scientist guy?
Wait
'Cause
a
I
minute.
think-
No. Ichi is just short for Ikiro.
Oh, okay, so they are the same person.
But the egg-eating man is not Akiro, so the egg-eating man is a different character.
I thought he was Ichi.
No, Ichi is short for Ichihiro, or Akiro,
I
who
thought
is the
Okay.
main guy.
All
We're off to a
right.
bad start on this.
No, that makes sense to me now. I was getting so confused. I'm like, I feel like there's two men they keep using interchangeably, and they have, I don't know. And I got so confused, and I was like, I thought Ichi was the lead, but then you were like, it's Akiro, and then I thought the Eggman was Ichi.
No,
So
no,
that
no.
that clarifies a lot.
The Eggman, I'm sure, has a name, but I did not catch it. He is told to contact our heroes about a big egg that has shown up in the ocean. And in a world of giant monsters, all of them are like, let's have everyone in the town go over and check it out. And I'm like, that's a bad idea. And a priest shows up and is just saying that, hey,
It's cool.
an egg's never hurt anyone.
It's cool.
When
I
is an
blessed
egg?
it.
Yeah. When has an egg ever hurt anyone? And I'm like, okay, Godzilla exists in this world.
You know exactly what he said?
What'd he say?
The priest said, don't worry. I'm paraphrasing sort of, but not really, because he says, I prayed to protect us from this monster egg curse, or I prayed to protect us against monster egg curses. And I had so many questions from that line, and I wanted to ask you what you thought a monster egg curse entails, because that's so specific.
I mean, in this very movie, it entails being haunted by a couple of tiny fairy women.
Yeah, the monster egg curse sounds like the plot of a Night at the Museum movie.
I do kind of love the idea that in this universe, you'd have priests who specialized in, like, warding off kaiju attacks.
That's really cool. That's like a cool D&D character backstory.
That would be a cool D&D character. Toho, to my knowledge, that never shows up in a movie.
Oh,
But
they should make one. Oh my gosh, it would be so cool to have a kaiju movie that follows the point of view of a priest that has to, like, go and try to, like, ward off
the XL Exorcist.
Yeah, yeah. The XXXL.
So, meanwhile, we've got, so he blesses the place and wards off evil egg curses, and a bunch of fishing boats go out towards the Mothra egg.
And visually, can you visually describe the egg?
Oh, yeah, it's got like patterns to it. It's almost like, it's like earthy pastel tones almost.
It's like robin egg blue, but it's striped. So one of the colors is robin egg blue, and it's white, and it's got sparkles on it. Like,
oh yeah, little spots.
This, like, to be honest, when my first thought upon seeing this egg was like, I think they maybe shouldn't be as worried about this being a Godzilla or Mothra egg, and maybe should actually be worried about the kaiju Easter bunny that's gonna come pick this thing up.
You know what it looks like, Jay? This looks like an egg that some Japanese men in the 60s went, that's an egg designed to appeal to women.
Oh, true. Yeah.
That's an egg that would cost extra to buy because it's marketed to women.
This is a shiny egg women will like.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
That makes sense. Sorry, I interrupted you, but I did want to give like a visual to our listeners.
Well, the egg will be very important. Also, the egg, massive. Like, as we will find out, this egg is like the size of Godzilla. It is a huge egg.
It at least comes up to like his chest or his hip or something. It's pretty big.
I don't know how Mothra pumped this egg out, if I'm being perfectly
honest. Good question. I didn't even think of that.
Like, the ovipositor on that must be huge.
Well, you know what they weren't thinking about when trying to appeal to women? Oh my gosh.
Well, you know... Honestly, maybe we find out Mothra's dying. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, maybe that has something to do with it.
So, we meet our third lead, which is Professor Miura, I believe is how you pronounce it.
I think so.
Who is getting samples from the egg to do something. We never really find out what he's looking into.
He's trying to figure out what kind of egg it is.
I don't know how he thinks he'll know,
I wondered
but
how many kinds of eggs there were.
I don't know. But Junko and Ikiro go over and try and get information from him. Junko continues to be a bad photographer. And we're introduced to one of our two villains, which is the businessman Kumayama.
Oh, I
who
love
is
him. I love him
a
so much, Nick.
mustachioed, over-the-top bad guy.
He is
who
charismatic. He's got the
he
riz.
exhales a cigar at Junko as she's trying to take a picture, and it's kind of great. And I like him because he saves me a lot of work. Because he mentions that he bought this egg from local fishermen for, 1,224,560 yen. And I was opening up my phone to start calculating how much that was worth. When Kumayama
does it
says,
for you.
he goes, a chicken egg costs 8 yen, and this egg is worth at least 153,820 chicken eggs. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Thanks, man. That was really helpful.
He's delightful. He's delightful in a number of ways. He saved you work, and also, did you catch when he was introducing himself, like his introduction to his character or whatever? They're like, because he kind of strolls in or whatever, acting like he owns this egg and telling people what they can or can't do with the egg, and then they're like, "Who are you to tell us like what to do? Like, who are you?" And he goes, "It's none of your business." But I'm, and
not that I need to tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, you say he comes in acting like he owns the egg. Legally, he does own the
That's
egg, and
true.
that will become a big thing.
Yeah.
But he shows up, and he is privatizing the egg, and as we will find out, is going to build a Jurassic Park style amusement park around this egg, where everybody will come and see the egg and whatever hatches out of it. And he's like, I'm gonna be rich.
Sorry, go on.
Very quickly, you realize this guy's gonna be the bad guy, but he is delightful.
You know, it's hard to be mad. He literally runs an enterprise called Happy Enterprises.
He runs Happy Enterprises. Happy Enterprises and their giant egg.
And their giant egg, and like they're the science guys are like, "Don't you think this has more scientific value?" And he's like, "I think it's got more social value, and I give people what they want." And I go, "That's a fantastic business model. Give people what they want."
He's like a Japanese version of the Monopoly guy.
Oh yes, I really like Mr. Kumayama as a character.
So, Mr. Kumayama causes this whole problem, and I call them in this the news trio, which is Junko, Ikiro, and Professor Miura.
Yeah.
They have a whole conversation where they're like, "Oh, we don't like that this guy has bought the egg, but we can't do anything about it. Governmental red tape and laws are stopping us." But Ikiro suspects that Kumayama is working for someone. And we then meet his boss, which is a bad guy by the name of Jiro Torahata. But we'll just call him Hiro.
I think hold on. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I think we skipped over something that might become plot relevant later.
Go for it.
So, if you're wondering who exactly Mr. Kumayama bought the egg from, he bought it from, I think it's like the chief of this fishing village, because they have an accord where anything in those waters, in that region of water, belongs to those fishermen. And so, but the fishermen have been having a hard time catching fish because I think because of the typhoon. Because of the typhoon, they were having problems catching fish. And so, this big monster egg shows up, and so they sell the monster egg, or the rights to the monster egg, to Mr. Kumayama in order to kind of keep their fishing village kind of afloat, is kind of what the deal is there.
Yeah, and as we get into it later, they have made an insane deal with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kumayama is working for, I don't know if it's pronounced Hiro or Jiro. I think it's Hiro. I think the
Hiro
J is pronounced as such. Yeah. The Hiro Torahata.
Yeah, Torahata.
Apologies. I am a dumb American man.
Yeah.
I can only pronounce these names as well. We'll call him Hiro. But They meet this guy who oozes smug bad guy vibes. He is the one kind of, I guess, funding Kumiyama's operation. And he wants to make this amusement park and make mad money. And as we find out, he has a giant cabinet in his office that is just filled with money.
It is
And
a
he
bad guy's
opens-
bank vault.
Yeah, he opened this door to this, like, it's not a bank vault, really. It's just a metal cabinet, just with stacks of money on shelves. And Kumiyama basically makes dollar sign eyes and is like, "Boy, can I have some money?" And Hiro's like, "Absolutely not. This is for something else. Don't worry about it."
And they, Mr. Kumiyama's kind of like, I think Mr. Torohata kind of starts, like, going like,
I
so
think
how...
we're calling him Mister. We're so respectful of these bad guys.
I'm just going off of what the subtitle said, if I'm being honest.
That's fair.
But yeah, Mr. Kumiyama is like thinking like, hey, we can make money like by selling tickets to people to see it hatch. And this guy, Mr. Torohata's like, you're thinking too small, kid. He goes, we can actually make more money if we build a giant cage around it, and then we build an amusement park. So he basically wants to have a Six Flags with whatever kaiju monster
Exactly.
births from
It's
this
Jurassic
egg.
Park.
Yeah, but I
But
just
before Jurassic Park.
just love the thought of like I was like this. I was like, this is like a Six Flag with like animals. This is kind of crazy. Could you imagine having like an amusement park and a zoo in one? And then I was like, wait, I think Disney did that.
I'm also like, if this is a world where Godzilla exists and
Mhm.
King Kong and Anguirus and all of these monsters, bro, that cage is not gonna hold whatever comes out of that egg.
Yeah.
It's like a cellophane cage. However, they're having this whole conversation, and all of a sudden, a high-pitched voice calls out to them saying, "Please give our egg back." And they're like, "What the hell's that?" And these two businessmen,
Like industrial spies.
yeah, they're like, "It must be spies." And they're like ready to go. And then these two little tiny, and like Barbie doll sized fairies show up. They don't have wings, but they're two Japanese women. And these are the Shobijin. Now, the Shobijin are an established part of Mothra lore. They've been around since the original movie. If Mothra's in a movie, the Shobijin will almost always be there. They've been recast a few times, but these are the original Shobijin. And Jay, you may be delighted to know that these are two real twins. Their names are Imi and Yumi Ito.
That is really
And they
cool,
were-
because I assumed it was just like maybe they had just figured out how to clone a person and make it look like twins. That's cool.
No, but they're two pop stars
Oh.
that went they were called the Peanuts, and the Peanuts were a big part of why Mothra was successful, because in this era the Peanuts were popular enough that they were even big in America in the 60s. Like, they were big time
Wow.
famous.
Wait, can we go on Spotify and see if they have like what their top song was, if the Peanuts are on
It's
that?
probably the Mothra song that will come later in this movie, because the Mothra song apparently in Japan is like a big pop culture touchstone. Like, even people who aren't monster movie fans know the Mothra song. Which I will say, this movie does not have the best rendition of the Mothra song I've ever heard, but, we'll get to that.
Is the Mothra song what they chant?
That's the one that they sing to Mothra later in the movie. They have a few songs that will play. I won't try and sing the Mothra song.
Oh, okay. Yeah, these are in Japanese. I should have seen that coming. Dummy me. Yeah,
They're
except
in
for
Russian.
number 4, their top selling or their top streamed song on Spotify is the Mothra song, and that's the only one I can see in English. Okay.
Yeah, it's the one's like bum, ba, da, 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 da. It's that one.
Very good.
That was pretty spot on.
That was a fun trivia fact. Thank you for that.
Well-
I'm delighted to know that they were pop stars.
I have a little more about the Peanuts.
Ooh.
One of them, I don't remember which one, had a mole on her cheek, so they had to do that, like cover that up to make them both be the same. But besides that, a big part of their act was that they would sing and do things like synced up. So they didn't actually have to practice that much for this movie. They were just really good at that already.
Huh.
And also, apparently, they were delightful to work with. The
Aw.
director of the movie was saying that he was kind of nervous to work with them because he's like, oh, you know, these big celebrity types sometimes like have all these demands and everything. Apparently super chill.
Oh, of course they were. They were the Peanuts.
And they play you will see them again. They play the Shobijin for a while, and then there's been a few different groups, but traditionally the Shobijin are always like a pair of musician twins generally.
I love that. That's really cool.
So yeah, I figured you'd like that, you know? Godzilla's pretty pop.
Yeah.
Mothra, at least. So yeah, the Shobijin show up, and they try and tell Kumiyama and Hiro, hey, that egg, you guys gotta give it back. And these two men decide to start just chasing them down to try and capture,
they do
or
like
maybe kill these two women.
They do the Team Rocket trying to nab Pikachu thing where they literally just have a knapsack.
Yeah.
Trying to throw
and
it over the
Shobijin
twins.
Are pulling some Batman shit. Like, they'll be behind a thing and then they won't be there. They're just darting around.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned earlier, though, about this being a way that they seemed like they were just showing off being able to do the size stuff.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Nice.
So, 2 parts. Firstly, they built a bunch of basically giant sets. You know how like they make miniatures of buildings? Mm-hmm. They basically told the team that makes miniature buildings, do the opposite. We need a giant table and a giant couch and all these things.
That's
and
cool.
So they made a giant set for them to run around in. But then for compositing them in, when you have the shots of the little Shobijin next to a big person.
Yeah.
That was done where Ishiro Honda, the director who, you know, made Godzilla and everything, he visited America a few years before making this movie, and he went to Walt Disney and saw that Disney was working with a thing called an optical printer that basically meant that you could take, I think it was like 3 to 5, something like that, layers of film and print them over each other without having to do what you used to do, which is physically cut out the things you wanted to then overlay in. You had to do it by hand. That's why it was kind of jittery on the edges and such.
Uh-huh.
This meant that you could just print it, and it made it way cleaner and increased the number of things you could do. And so this is absolutely them showing off. And at the time, I believe there were 2 optical printers in existence. Disney had one, and Toho had the other one.
That's really cool.
So this was like a pretty big deal. Also, apparently, Honda wanted he said that he had the dream that one day Disney would remake Mothra as like an animated movie, and it hasn't happened yet, but it'd be real cool.
Yeah, I wonder why they didn't jump on that.
It's probably a rights thing. Probably Toho's like, no.
They've said, never mind. Money. We know you got Jersey Shore on Disney Plus, and we won't sully our Mothra with that.
Tragically, Godzilla's not on Disney Plus. But yeah, so they try and catch the Shobijin. And the Shobijin escape because they're fucking ninjas. And they go outside where our news trio seem to have been sneaking towards the building.
It's the most Scooby-Doo looking woods, isn't it, with the twisted trees?
They go out into the woods, and the Shobijin find our main heroes, and they're like, hey, maybe you guys can give this egg back. It's really important we get that egg back. And we find out that they are from Infant Island, which is where Mothra's from, where apparently nuclear weapons have been tested there. It's an island out in the South Pacific. And they seem to take little fairy women showing up completely in stride.
Yeah, they're very cool with this. And this is where my confusion came from. I'm like, okay, well, because at this point the businessman hadn't tried to buy them yet, so it was like they just try to catch them in a bag and then they escape, and then they talk to these people who take it in stride. I'm like, maybe this is just a normal thing in this universe.
I don't know how they know that fairy women are okay. That makes no sense to me. They just gloss over that.
Yeah, and I was wondering, like, is there any sort of, like, maybe Godzilla lore reason, like, why it's named Infant Island? Like, is that where kaijus are from? Or, oh, okay.
No,
Nick's making a
Jay.
face, visual audience.
Monsters, kaiju, are from Monster Island, which will show up in later movies.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not kidding. There is a location called Monster Island that will be very important, and that's where Godzilla and everybody hangs out.
Do you think if we go to the Jersey Shore, we could also go to Monster Island?
I would love to go to Monster Island. I don't want to go to Infant Island, though, because as established, they had a
That
bunch
you
of
test nuclear
bombs tested
sites,
on them.
yeah.
They take the Shobijin completely in stride, but then the Shobijin are like, yeah, it's Mothra's egg, and they're like, Mothra? What? And I'm like, Mothra is not the least believable part of what's happening here, guys.
No. And yeah, apparently Mothra's egg got washed away in that typhoon that was talked about at the beginning of the film.
Which seems to have just been a natural typhoon. It doesn't seem like that was caused by anything.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I was wondering if there was going to be like a reveal or something, but yeah, it's just natural disaster.
Well, as the Infant Island, or as they're talking about Infant Island, they cut to the people of Infant Island who are doing a prayer song ceremony of some sort to get the egg back, and they are going for it.
Can we timestamp this?
100% we can timestamp this.
Because I did write this timestamp down for the prayer song thing. Okay, good.
Their prayer song is...
It goes hard.
It's a party I want to be invited to. It's great. We're gonna have another clip in a moment here, but before that, we'll get to this more later. I was shocked by how tastefully they handled the native peoples of Infant Island for a movie in the 60s. Like, they cut to them and I was like, oh boy, is this gonna be real rough? They're treated pretty respectfully.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much bashing of it or anything. I was just kind of curious, and this is me being, like, obviously very, like, ignorant American here. They almost seem kind of like, at least, like, Native Americans Native Americans, but I don't know, because maybe there's, like, sects of that in...
I think they're going for Pacific Islander, judging by what they said.
Yeah, so is that vague. Kind of we might have to cut this bit out.
Well, I'm not an expert, but the thing is Pacific Island, Indonesia, that whole area has a lot of different cultures.
Yeah.
There. Like, people always talk about, like, kind of Polynesian and Maori, but there's more than just that there. I am almost certain that these are not an accurate representation of any of the groups that are there, and that they kind of went over that by saying it was Infant Island, which obviously isn't real.
Well, the only reason, and I didn't mean it to suggest that there couldn't be, like, people using, like, headdresses and stuff somewhere else in the world with their own cultures. I more was wondering if it was, like, because this was in the 60s and they, like you were kind of stating earlier, they were trying to appeal to an American audience, right? By making it...
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah, so I was wondering almost if they had included Native Americans sort of for that purpose, even though they, like, speak Japanese and stuff, but I wasn't sure.
That is possible. I'm not sure. I think, honestly, part of it might just be that was the cinema shorthand for tribal people, is that kind of vibe.
Okay.
It's not the best, but I will say I was shocked that they were handled as well as they were.
Yeah, and you weren't seeing, like, ritual sacrifices or something.
I, like, braced when I saw them show up. I was like, oh, no. Um,
No.
but they show up, and then the Shobijin are telling them, they're like, hey, you guys gotta give us that egg back, or a baby Mothra's gonna hatch out, and it's gonna fuck everything up trying to get back home.
Yeah, trying
Like,
to
it
get
will
back home and look for
destroy
food,
things.
and yeah.
And then our heroes are like, oh, okay, well, how do we go about that? Where's Mothra? And they're like, oh, don't worry, Mothra's closer than you think. And then just boom, just
Yeah.
a Mothra
It's
jump
just a
scare.
giant Mothra on the hillside right next to them.
I have a clip for that because the sound effect and everything is incredible.
And then I have a question after.
Go for it.
Okay, so you know how moths in real life are very small?
Uh-huh.
Do you think, for a moth to be considered kaiju size, it would just have to be, the size of a dog or something? Because to scale, that's already so much bigger.
For a moth. I think it depends on who's considering what the kaiju, because we're kaiju to some things. We're kaiju to moths.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, is a kaiju, is there just a certain height scale that you have to be in general, no matter your species, to be a kaiju? Or is a kaiju more loose in terms of if you're 50 times the scale of whatever your normal size should be, you're a kaiju?
I'm looking this up. Loud computer clacking noises.
I'm just saying, if I saw something the size of Mothra as portrayed in this movie, I would probably crap myself. But also, if I saw Mothra that was if I saw a moth that was the size of my dog, I would also probably crap myself.
So there's no official ranking of listing of how big a monster has to be a kaiju. In my head, you have to be building sized or bigger.
Okay. I just wasn't sure.
Which I guess means some dinosaurs, I guess, could be considered kaiju, but I think you have to be taller than a building.
Well, what kind of building? Just a skyscraper? Or a farmhouse?
Like a farmhouse, like a 1 or 2 story. I think if you're taller than a 1-story building,
that's
and
pretty
you're a
tall.
monster, I could consider that. You're not a very impressive kaiju, but I'll allow it.
Okay. I just thought it was a question worth asking.
It's fair. It's very vague. But the news duo and Professor Miura, they go back in and they try and talk to Kumiyama and Hiro, and they're like, hey, why don't you guys be cool and do the right thing? And they're like, we are rich businessmen. We would rather watch the world burn than do anything that made us lose money. And that's our characters are even like, yeah, we should have seen this coming.
And this is where I went. This is when I called up my attorney friend way late at night. Because during this meeting, so first off, they're like, hey, we need to give this egg back. This is very clearly Mothra's egg, which is a wild way to start a request if Mothra is not an established thing.
Well, they know who Mothra is, I assume, because Mothra was in a movie previously. Everybody seems to know what Mothra is.
They didn't. The Tiny Twins had to explain it to them. The trio, at least.
I don't think they knew where Mothra was from. I think they just knew she was a giant moth.
Okay, well then that makes more sense, because yeah, they immediately go in we gotta give this back to Mothra, and the businessmen do not ask any questions about who Mothra is. And they're all like, oh, well, did Mothra give you power of attorney? And that's when I had to ask myself the question, what does it take for a kaiju to give somebody power of attorney? And so I have an attorney. I know an attorney. And I called him, and he was very kind about answering many of my questions very late at night.
Because I also know this friend, and I'm really wanting to know what he said.
So, I said, what would be the legal challenges of Mothra assigning power of attorney? And he made very clear to me he could only speak as to Alaska's state law and not Japanese law. First off, so I said,
Well, that's good.
I said fair enough, and I said for argument's sake, since I took the time to call you this late at night and you were bored enough to answer, well, in Alaska at least, what would
Alaska
it take for?
Is one of the states that's closest to Japan, so
They did come over here during World War II before the rest, so
they went to Hawaii too, rather famously.
That's right. I only care about Alaska history. So. Anyway, so he goes, oh, okay, and he's like, well, all that would need to happen was that Mothra would need to fill out a power of attorney form. And so then I had to ask, well, what if they don't have hands? And so then he said, well, then Mothra would need to get an interpreter. And I said, well...
The Shobijin.
The Shobijin, yeah, exactly. And I said, well, what if the interpreters only speak Japanese? And he was very kind to not just say, I'm sure there's somebody in Alaska that also can speak Japanese, I'm sure there maybe is somebody they could deal with that speaks Japanese. And he said, well, the interpreter could get an interpreter. And I was like, because I think what had led to that, I was like, there is only one specific interpreter that can talk to Mothra, or there's two in this case. There's two tiny twins that can speak only to Mothra, it seems. But they only seem to speak Japanese, I think. It's not really established, but I'm assuming.
Well, they speak the universal language of song.
Yeah, and the universal language of song. And so he said they were welcome to get an interpreter as well.
I love that this is the part of the legalities you're getting hung up on of who will speak Japanese for the Shobijin.
Then I wasn't done, so I said, okay, and I said, okay, that's all well and good. The interpreters can get interpreters, and that answers the power of an attorney question. But then I said, well, what if the thing in question they're even arguing about in the first place is there's an unborn larva egg, so it's an egg, and I'm like, does that then become a custody battle? How does that work? Like, can you give power of attorney to make decisions about this unborn child thing? And he said, no, Mothra would have the parental claim to it as they had the egg, so it would not turn into a custody battle between Mr. Kumiyama and Mothra. It would just be Mothra's.
What if, and we might have to get him on the line here, what if Mothra has been proven to be negligent because she let her child get washed away in a fucking typhoon?
Is that negligent? I feel like that's happened to people in real life, maybe, and I don't think that's negligence. I think that's just
feel
shit
like she
luck.
spent a really long time. I guess that's true. She spent a really long time. We're gonna get into the problem with this. A key problem with this movie is they never explain why Mothra can't just go and get the egg herself.
That's true, yeah.
Because
why does she need these three humans' help?
A giant moth who can make hurricanes with her wings. Why the fuck does she care about the legalities of getting her child back?
Well, she doesn't. This is just a rabbit hole because the bad guys introduced this question that I had to have answered.
It seems like she does because her interpreters are wanting this done the right way and the negotiation way. Not Mothra should be fucking coming in and just swooping that egg up.
All I'm saying is if I was swept out to sea and I ended up in, like, another locale, and then that locale was like, actually, we own you now, my mom would raise hell.
That's true.
And she's not gonna wait for somebody else to negotiate.
So when you asked your friend, which, to be clear, you did not invite this friend to watch the movie with you. You just... I'm definitely gonna
watch this movie with him at some point. But yes, I did just pull this question. You know what? I'm actually glad it worked out this way because then I got to ask him questions out of context. So that, I was getting an unbiased rule of law.
Well, what else did he say?
So I said, okay, so he said Mothra, it's not a custody battle. Mothra would just get parental claim. And I said, well, the egg is not hatched, so how can you prove it's a moth larva egg? So I'm like, so if the egg isn't hatched and you don't know for sure it's a larva egg, I'm like, how does that work? And I was like, because the businessman has no claim to it because obviously the businessman cannot lay that sized egg, and I don't think they can lay any eggs to my knowledge.
Mothra probably shouldn't be able to lay that sized egg either, but here we are.
Yeah, and I said, but the kaiju in existence, I said, it's unhatched, so how would you even know it belongs to her and not another kaiju?
I mean, she could tell you.
Well, you could say anything. I could say that Beyonce is my sister. That doesn't make it true.
I guess that's true. That's true. You're taking Mothra's word for it.
Yeah, you gotta take Mothra's...
I think it's so interesting. Mothra's one of the only kaiju that actually can have people interpret her desires and wants.
Yeah.
And, you can't do that for Godzilla.
These tiny twins are like the Joseph Smith. They're interpreting their God's will for everybody else, and you just gotta trust on good faith that they're actually saying the truth and not just making up their own stuff.
I trust the Shobujin. I trust the Peanuts.
I'm sorry to our one Mormon fan. So why are you laughing?
Not to say only one Mormon can listen to us, but to say that we only are allowed to have one person of every fandom. So if there's more than one, I'm sorry, you guys got to fight for it.
Is the Mormon faith a fandom?
I'm gonna get in trouble for this. What is religion if not the most high form of fandom?
That's true. I say this with all the love in my heart as a Christian. So I asked, so I said, well, how do if Mothra can't necessarily prove it's her egg at this point, and obviously it's not the businessman's, then how does that work? And he said, well, barring that another kaiju monster comes and contests custody, odds are parental rights would automatically be reverted to Mothra. And
Gigan rolls up and is like, I'm the father.
Yeah, and so I feel like I still had more questions, because I'm like, well...
I sure do.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, it's not like if a child is there's two people contesting custody of a child, and they're just waiting to see if anybody else steps up and is like, actually, I'm the child's parent. I felt I felt like I could have asked a million more questions, but I decided I would, at that point, thank him and let him go to bed.
We'll get him on the line. We'll get him on the line right now. Let's go.
We will not, because he has a professional career, and I'm sure he doesn't.
I have a professional career, too. It's just...
you are
far
a
less impressive,
man.
and I'm doing this. Yeah, maintenance is an important career too.
It is important.
If Mothra had broken her sink, I could tell you all about how to fix that.
Oh my gosh, that raises so many more questions, Nick. Do you think Mothra owns property? Do you think she owns Infant Island?
I think so.
Okay. I guess that didn't raise as many questions as I thought. You answered that pretty decisively.
You should have called me up about this law stuff. I could have gotten you right to the answers.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like Mothra owns Infant Island, if for no other reason, because who's going to tell her no?
Godzilla, maybe, but that didn't go very well for him in this movie.
Yeah, he could try. Okay, so...
sorry, getting back, I just, I needed to let our listeners know I did my due diligence, and I did check with someone of the law.
Oh, man.
Someone versed in law, I should say.
You know what? This is the type of content that people come and listen to us for.
They have to take it on good faith that I actually know a lawyer and I'm not just talking out of my ass.
Once they get through the hour of Jersey Shore content, then they can get to the good shit.
I know, I should be asking him more legal questions about Jersey Shore.
I don't think we should ask legal questions about Jersey Shore. That might open up a can of worms we're not ready for. Though, to be fair, you did look up the legalities of the situation's whole deal. So this has just been a legal-heavy episode.
I have fun with it, I'm sure I'm going to do my best to just report what I find. And if I find more stuff, I'll try to redact stuff as I go. I'm a person. I'll just throw that out there right now. I'm just a normal person. So
I won't admit fault when I'm wrong. I'm right, and if you think I'm wrong, you're actually wrong.
If you think he's wrong, you'll have to fight him in the comments.
If you think I'm wrong, you need to buy one of our t-shirts, and then I will gladly talk to you about it in a polite, respectful discussion once you've given me money.
Nick, yeah. Give Nick money, and
he
He probably still won't admit he's wrong, but he'll be nicer to you. He'll like you.
Give Nick money. Anyways,
we can't have this many t-shirts. We don't even have anything posted.
We sure can.
Okay.
Our
So
news heroes are surprised when they find out that the court of public opinion doesn't actually matter against rich assholes.
oh
And
yeah,
I wish
because they
that
were
wasn't
thinking
so
of
relevant.
they were thinking about publishing an article, just so you
Yeah,
know,
they
kind of
did
exposing the businessman.
Yeah, they published an article being like, Mothra's egg stolen, and the general public seems to be on their side, but what do you know? Rich corporations don't give a fuck.
No, rich corporations are in buses happily throwing flyers out, like, hey, come watch
Yeah.
Mothra's egg hatch, which is literally what Mr. Kumiyama is like doing.
It's
Oh,
kind of great.
they did before. We cannot skip past this. Before the whole printing of the article and everything, when they're still trying to convince Mr. Kumiyama, Mr. Torahana, to give up Mothra's egg, and they then change it from a plea. It then becomes the businessman trying to negotiate with how to buy these tiny twins, because they do reveal the tiny twins.
That's true. He does try and
They're in a
buy the
box.
Shobijin. Yeah, there's a little box that opens up, and he's like, what if we bought the Shobijin from you? And everybody's like,
This wasn't why we showed you the tiny twins. They're trying to tell you to give back Mothra's egg.
they're like, that's, I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And then the Shobijin also then hop onto Mothra's back after this meeting doesn't go well, and they're like, all right, we're going back to Infant Island.
Yeah,
Bye!
they're like, this was a
And
terrible
Mothra flies
experience.
off. Yeah, they're like, this sucked.
we
We're
did not
leaving.
like you guys trying to engage us in slave trade. That wasn't very cool.
They're like, basically they say, hey, the baby will get back to us either way. Have fun with that. And fly off.
We were trying to help you guys. You thought this was about us? No, we were trying to help you.
And then Kumiyama, we also find out that Kumiyama doesn't have to pay the fishing village rent for the park until it opens.
I think the day of opening or the day after opening, something like that.
Which is so funny, because if you're a businessman, you just never open the park. You just keep delaying it, and you get to have this investment for free. It is so funny that was allowed to happen.
But then he won't make the money if he never opens it.
Jay, not to get political, most of the billionaires in our world are built around, guys, invest in this. It'll happen any day now. How long has Elon Musk been tricking people into thinking that we're going to Mars in 15 years?
But then where's I don't think there is any initial investment unless Mr. Kumiyama is trying to fleece Mr. Torahana.
No. All you need to do is you just need to get a bunch of rich investors to believe that if they put their money into this, it'll pay off for them. And they'll just keep paying you. You don't actually have to do anything.
I think this is why I'm not a business person.
I'm
not
also
understanding
not a
how
business
Mr.
person.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know how Mr. Kumiyama's profiting. So far, he just lost 80 million yen or something and has a
If
giant
you're a
egg. He has no
billionaire-
money yet.
If you're a billionaire, you don't actually have to give any results. You just have to tell people you're gonna do a thing, and people throw money at you. So all this is happening, and there's the whole stuff about they published an article and it doesn't work. And about this point in the movie, I'm going, where's Godzilla fit into any of this?
Yeah,
We're about half an hour into the movie. We're, of course, an hour into our discussion. But Godzilla is nowhere to be seen, and I'm kind of, like, checking my watch, like, where's he at?
Where's our boy?
And, well, before we get into where Godzilla's at, I just have to make a note that Egg Guy is talking about soft boiling his egg, and talking about how long it might take for them to incubate the Mothra egg in comparison, and I admire this guy's commitment to his lunch.
I admired the segue, because then immediately after that, it cuts to Mr. Kumiyama inundating the big giant monster egg with whatever gas I think is supposed to induce incubation.
Yeah, they begin incubating it, so they start heating it up. And then our heroes go back with with the professor, Professor Miura.
Back to his university lab or something.
Because they were like, hey, we found a really radioactive thing. And we see that little bit of what is assumedly Godzilla from earlier.
Think they didn't know it was radioactive because
They
the
100%
first thing
didn't.
was the journalists were like in this gas chamber getting hosed down with something, and they come out, they're like, why do we have to do that? And they're like, because this thing is radioactive. And you know what? I'm pretty sure Itchy handled it with his hands in the very first scene of the film.
100%. That man he's gonna have a bad life.
Yeah.
But not a long one. So they find this radioactive piece of something, and then they go out to where they found it, and there's a big drained sandy area that had previously been flooded. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, there's a lot of wide shots, and that looks like a miniature. I think Godzilla's about to show up. And then Godzilla, remembering he's supposed to be in this movie, bursts up out of the ground.
He's like, what's that thing in Baldur's Gate that pops out of the Underdark ground?
The boulette?
Yeah, he's like the bullet, and it's literally how it is, because the ground is like, moves up and down, you know?
Yeah, and he's just like, he bursts out like a
bursts.
sandworm from Dune. And like shakes himself off. It's kind of cool seeing Godzilla come out of the ground. Usually he comes out of the ocean.
Yeah, it was definitely, it wasn't his MO, but I liked it. It was different.
They did that in, there's a live action Godzilla TV series that came out a few years ago where Godzilla's like sleeping out in the desert and he just wakes up from beneath the sand. It's pretty cool.
Ooh.
I don't know if we're ever going to watch Monarch Legacy of Monsters because that's a TV show, but maybe. It's pretty fun.
Never say never.
Never say never. We'll run out of these eventually. We'll run out of these well before we run out of Jersey Shore. So the Godzilla gets up.
Should we
and
describe like kind of
shit.
how he looks? Like
Yeah,
what
I
the
was about
suit
to
looks
say.
like? Yeah.
This is one of the most iconic Godzilla suits, and I have a fun fact about the suit that I'm going to get to in just a moment.
Okay.
There are technically multiple suits used in this movie because any scene where he's out in the water, they're using the suit from the previous movie, which is King Kong versus Godzilla, because they didn't want to damage this suit. However, you might notice that this Godzilla, he goes on a bit of a tear. He's in for how he. I guess I should go back and say how he looks.
He looks very spongy to me.
Classic Godzilla. Yeah, he's got kind of the latex skin, kind of the charcoal gray. He's got kind of rounder features. He's got these angry looking big
Angry snake
googly
eyes. Yeah.
There's a few scenes in the movie where it's like a low angle shot of him like just glaring up at the camera, and he looks furiously stoned.
That's a good descriptor of it, actually.
This suit was kind of a big deal at the time because this at the time was the lightest and most maneuverable Godzilla suit. So the guy in it was able to move more. You wouldn't know that because Godzilla, this whole movie, acts like he is drunk out of his mind. He is stumbling around. There's a bit where he gets his tail stuck in this big, like, radio tower looking thing.
He gets
And
his
at
tail
first-
messed with a lot in this movie.
Oh, yeah. It's a bad day to be Godzilla. But he gets his tail stuck. I thought he was, like, trying to pry up this tower with his tail. But no, he gets it stuck and then accidentally pulls it over and, like, stumbles forward like a goof. And then there's a bit where he walks over to this big castle. And apparently the castle miniature was a big part of the budget for this movie. They spent a lot of money making this. So he's walking over to it. He trips.
He trips on a low wall. Not even
And
the castle
falls-
itself, a low wall in front of the castle.
Falls face first into this castle. And this is where the best bit of trivia for this movie is. So the actor in the suit, Haruo Nakajima, who played Godzilla for many years, he insists that the tripping was part of the script. He insists it was not an accident. What was an accident is that when Godzilla smashes his face into the castle, it broke the face. And that's why for this whole movie, one half of its face is a little droopier and the mouth doesn't close right.
Oh no.
It's because they broke the Godzilla face, and apparently they couldn't fix it for the next movie because they didn't have the money. So 2 movies later, they finally fixed
have
it.
an effed up face still, the second one.
Also, you may notice when you see the bit of him destroying the castle, they keep doing cuts. That's because the first time he tried, the castle wouldn't come apart like it was supposed to, so you could find behind-the-scenes footage of Godzilla just pummeling this thing, trying to get it to fall apart. And then apparently the second time, they had to have a bunch of stagehands with sticks, like, push it apart from behind.
So Godzilla needed help.
So Godzilla needed help destroying the building.
That's so funny.
It's
Godzilla
really
needed help
funny.
would be a really good title for this movie.
Yeah, so yeah, he's kind of just stumbling all over the place. Another bit about technical advancements. You may notice that throughout this movie, Godzilla is just using his atomic breath, like left, right, and center. He's just firing it off.
It's a very fun. What would you call that visual effect? Because it's almost like it's very 2D still.
Yeah,
of.
it's like painted over. It's kind of like how they did the lightsabers back in the day of like painting onto the film.
Yeah, it's a lot of
However,
that.
In Godzilla movies earlier to this, whenever Godzilla used his atomic breath, he wouldn't move his head much when he was about to do it. He'd kind of like move into position and then stay still so it could be drawn in. Because of the optical printer, they were able to track where his head was moving better, so he can do it while he's moving around and thrashing.
Ooh,
So this was kind of a big deal at the time.
that's cool. Yeah, I bet they were like, I don't know what they were like, but I bet they were
They're
happy.
probably very proud of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, then our news trio decides that they need to be the ones to figure out how to stop Godzilla. And I'm
They are
like,
taking a lot of work on themselves.
I will continue to ask this question throughout the movie, but I ask at this point, why are you guys doing this?
Yeah.
The military's barely shown up at this point, by the way.
I think they show up when we get a
They show
very,
up
very,
later.
very brief scene of them like talking about how they're gonna stop Godzilla, and basically their plan is, hey, let's lure him to the least populated area that's nearby and attack him. And if that doesn't work, we'll lure him to this other area and throw nets on him and electrocute him.
Oh, we'll get to the nets. I loved their plan to take on Godzilla. A plan that would only work against this Godzilla. This bumbling Godzilla. This concussed Godzilla.
Is this would you say this is the least this is the least effective Godzilla that
No.
you've seen? Oh, there's a worse one?
There's a worse Godzilla.
Oh, I'm so
There's a
excited
few
for
worse
that
Godzillas. Remember how I mentioned that there was an American Godzilla that was so bad that Japan had to reboot the series earlier than they wanted to?
Oh, I think, yeah, you did mention that.
That one's pretty bad.
Good.
But let's see here. Okay, so the news team is like, we're gonna trick Godzilla somehow into going to where Mothra's egg is, and then Mothra will show up and kick this guy's ass.
Yeah.
And then they go, all right, let's go to Infant Island. And they fly out and take a little boat over to Infant Island. And they get there and they find a beach riddled with skeletons. And one of those skeletons is of a big skeleton turtle that you may notice its head is moving all over the place. It is bobbing around despite being dead.
At first I thought it was just like a prop design. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Whatever, dead dinosaur in the background or something. And all of a sudden its head moves. And I was like, whoa. It looks kind of like almost like maybe a rudimentary version of Dry Bones from Mario.
But our heroes do not reference the moving skeleton in the background.
They don't seem to find that odd at all.
I looked into this, and apparently this is another thing where they insist it was not an accident. Apparently this is a reference to an old Italian documentary called A Dog's Life, where there is footage of a decaying turtle swaying in the wind. However, the fan base, much like me, loves this turtle. And apparently, He is called Skeleturtle by both the fandom and official sources, and he has official merch and has shown up in Godzilla comics.
Has he ever shown up in film again that we know
Not
of?
that I am aware of.
I wonder. Oh, they should make Skeleturtle his own spin-off movie.
Skeleturtle Origins.
Skeleturtle, because I mean, he lives on Infant Island, so he's connected there in some way.
Yeah. It could also be... I've seen some people say that it might be a reference to Gamera, but I don't think Gamera was really around at this point. I could be wrong. Let's see. When did Gamera come out? Gamera is a big
That is one
kaiju
name I've heard. Yeah.
Okay, Gamera came out a year later.
Okay, so it's not Gamera.
1965, so it's not related to Gamera. But yeah, I've never seen a Gamera movie. I'm so excited.
Oh, okay. You haven't
I've heard
seen
some
one.
of them are good. I've never watched one. I was a Godzilla kid. I didn't have access to Gamera as a kid. I never watched Gamera and I never watched Ultraman, and I'm very excited for both.
I got news for you. I haven't watched those either.
I know you haven't. You haven't even watched the 50-Foot Woman.
No, I haven't. Not yet.
So, the Infant Island natives sneak up on our main characters in their most camouflaged of bright red, and ambush them, and lead them to a chamber where there is a big mixing pot of tomato soup, I think.
Yeah.
It's a big red soup that they have our heroes eat, and then they never
It's never
explain what it
explained.
is.
Yeah. It's never explained what it is. And I thought, are we gonna get like some sort of vision type thing where they're gonna have vision quest, or they're gonna have like some sort of drug induced stupor? But it doesn't seem to do anything at all.
It'll let them talk to Mothra.
Is that what it is?
No, that's what I'm saying. It would make sense if that's what it was, but
no.
It's I guess they just wanted them to have soup.
Just gave him soup.
Maybe it's a reference to the first Mothra, and I don't know, but it seemed odd. Then the Shobijin start singing.
Well, then they first they go, hey,
yes.
After they eat the soup, they're like, hey, do you think you can ask Mothra to help fend off Godzilla? And the chief is like, no, because you really screwed up our island. They call it...
No, and fuck you.
Yeah, you screwed up our island playing with the Devil's Fire, which I think is a really cool name for nuclear bombs.
It is, however, and this is a whole thing with all of Godzilla media, I think it's pretty rich, guys, to be blaming Japan for nuclear weaponry, the one country that has been nuked. Like,
yeah.
If I was them, I'd have been like, hey, bro, we know what you're going through. We totally get the whole island nation hit by nuclear weapons. We aren't for it either.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well,
you're
it's
the
because
only
Japan...
other group of people who could say that.
Well, it's because Japan was, I think in this movie, was using the island, wasn't it? Japan was using the island as a nuclear test?
It's well, it can't be Japan, because Japan didn't and they might still not have nuclear weapons. I don't actually know. At the time, they certainly didn't.
I thought
they just said it was used for testing. I don't think they specified who, because I don't think they were allowed to.
So is Janus Films made this, right?
This is Toho.
Toho. So Toho is Japanese, so the Japanese are blaming themselves in this movie.
Well, the Godzilla and all of that is very complicated with how it addresses nuclear response, because like that's basically what the whole series is about, and then the movies kind of lose the thread on that every once in a while. But I think they're trying to just kind of be like, yeah, we're part of the problem because we're part of this outside world. I also just looked up, Japan does not have nuclear weapons.
Japan, that every country's got its like bad skeletons and shit or whatever, but as far as nuclear goes, Japan, maybe you're the one country that doesn't have to.
That's sort of, and that's kind of the tragedy of it all. If it's like they went through all this and they have to deal with Godzilla all the time. Because Godzilla is supposed to represent almost like a ghost or a memory of that trauma and that, horrible thing. But I'm just saying, if I was them, I would have brought up to the Infant Island natives of like, hey, totally get that, but we get where you're coming from, dude. Can you please take your fucking egg and go?
Yeah.
Then the Shobijin,
they do
sorry,
show up. Oh, I was
they
just
start singing.
yeah.
And I have we can get a little clip of their like little sorrowful song.
I'm glad because I was also going to request the timestamp right now.
Yeah, so they sing their little song, one of their two songs, and
And they casually reveal they have telepathic powers and can read thoughts.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we know you're telling the truth. We can read your mind. And I'm like, maybe they are corporate spies.
Yeah. And nobody seems to care that they're telepathic. This is not followed up with any questions or any astonishment from the heroic trio.
No. And telepaths exist in Godzilla lore, but not up. I think this is the first time it's ever happened.
I could just do this little thing. It's no big D. It's just a little telepathy.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Also, we can read your goddamn minds. And I think the Shobijin could be doing a lot more. If the Shobijin wanted to, I think they could get that egg back.
I think so, but also they said it's not our problem anyway, and it's not even really Mothra's problem because
I guess that's true.
Yeah, they're like, this egg is gonna find its way home no matter what. It's just a matter of, do you want to get destroyed or not before that happens?
They are not worried about these babies being in trouble, and quite rightfully so.
I was gonna say, I think the Shobijins are doing an appropriate amount, maybe even more than they need to. It's not really their problem, but they're like, hey, we tried to help, and you tried to kidnap us and sell us.
Exactly. Well, and then our heroes are like, hey, what if you guys helped us? And they're like, no, we don't want to. And then they give a more impassioned version of, but what if you guys helped us? And the Shobijin are like, shit, you make a good point. Let's go talk to Mothra.
I did like what did you say the female journalist's name was?
Junko.
Yeah, she kind of makes an impassioned speech, and I did think it was kind of like, I just thought it was a neat little note where what she decided to say was like something about like, a lot of good people there's a lot of good people and bad people that will die, if Godzilla is kind of left to slaughter. And she said, and even bad guys deserve to live. And I was like, I thought that was just kind of a neat take.
We will see that some bad guys maybe don't get to live in a little bit here.
Yeah.
But, so then they go to Mothra, and I'm going to go ahead, I know we just had a clip, but I'm going to put in another timestamp because you got to have the Mothra song. So
it is number 4 on the Peanut Spotify.
The Mothra song is from the original movie. It has been remade and remixed plenty of times. It's kind of iconic of Mothra's whole deal. And Mothra doesn't seem to be super into it, to be fair. They kind of sing the song and she's just kind of like sitting there, but we do find out that she is dying.
Mm-hmm.
What is she dying of? Unclear. I guess she's old? Maybe she's dying from pooping out that egg. I don't know.
That would be my guess. It did look quite painful. It looked about her size. It looked her size and body mass.
Yeah, that egg's massive. I don't know what. So Mothra dies a lot in Godzilla media. You will see. Mothra kind of has a whole thing where Mothra will die and then be reincarnated into the next Mothra. So she's kind of like an avatar situation.
Oh, that's pretty cool though.
Because Mothra's she's not just a monster, she's like an actual goddess, basically. So she's kind of spiritual. And so, when Mothra dies, it's like, okay, well, she'll come back.
Yeah.
But just buckle up. Mothra fans are used to their favorite monster just eating it repeatedly.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, but Godzilla fans had to deal with Godzilla in this movie, so.
That's true. This is probably the best Mothra ever does against Godzilla. Usually Mothra shows up and you're like, oh, she's doing pretty well, but like she can't. I mean, Godzilla's way more dangerous. In this movie, as we'll find out, Mothra handily is able to handle Godzilla for the most part.
Not even Mothra. I mean, I guess it's Mothra if she's reincarnated, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I'm getting ahead.
So Mothra's dying, but she has the whole reincarnation thing going for her. We have a few shots of some tank miniatures going to go shoot at Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
And I only bring it up because they were clearly very proud of these tank miniatures, given how long and how close up the shots of them are. And they look pretty good.
Yeah, I would say at the time they were pretty well.
You can see the little bit of piano wire behind them pulling them along. And I'm like, it's cute. I like it. Apparently they were made of aluminum.
So did they, I'm assuming they actually just melted them right there.
Yeah. I have some notes about that scene later, but yeah, Godzilla later in the movie is going to fire his atomic breath down at these tanks, and they like light on fire and start melting, and it looks kind of awesome.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Cool. The effect stuff around Godzilla is great in this movie. It's just Godzilla himself is kind of dropping the ball. So then we find out that Egg Guy, so he's standing in the path of where Godzilla is heading. And the newspaper crew is like, hey, you gotta go, Godzilla's on the way. And Egg Guy goes, I would rather face Godzilla than risk being fired from my newspaper job. And I'm like, the corporate ecosystem there seems really unhealthy.
Yeah. What is it? Did I tell you about this anime yet? This will be a tiny tangent, but I need to get you the name of it, and maybe our one fan of the show will know. But Ben was telling me about this anime that was about Japanese guy that he goes to work. It's kind of showing him, and he's really depressed about like just his run of his life that he's in, where he's constantly at work 24/7 and always pressured to work. And then the zombie apocalypse happens, and he's just happy because he doesn't have to go to work. I think that's an amazing premise for a show, but yeah, I was like,
Hang on, I'm gonna try and deal with Cooper real quick.
Sure.
Our neighbor dog is freaking out. One moment.
Oh, he left us alone. This is when we get to talk shoot about him. What should we say? Something scathing. Oh, I bet he does really good cosplay because he does. It's hard to be mean. Oh, he's back. I didn't get time to be mean, but that's okay. This will be a nice surprise for him later.
What are you saying? What are you saying?
Nothing. Wouldn't you like to know, Leather Boy?
I would. I'll find out.
No, you won't.
You're recording.
So?
I'll hear it when I edit.
I know. I thought maybe if I was just confident enough in my statement, it would confuse you, and that was not the case.
All right. What were we... Oh, yeah. All right, we'll pick back up. Okay, so then we get to one of the wildest scenes of this movie, which is sudden and severe violence in a movie that has otherwise been pretty toothless, which is when Kumiyama goes to see Hiro and is like really upset with him for kind of stiffing him on the funding of this project. And So he walks in, he slaps the cigar out of Hiro's mouth, which is so rude. I love it. He just slaps it right out of his mouth, and then they just start, like, tussling. They just start throwing down. And then, fucking, like, Kumiyama knocks Hiro down and starts just punching him over and over again in the face.
Yeah, I thought he killed him at first.
Yeah, he's bleeding, like, severely, and I'm here like, oh my god, there's been no blood in this movie.
Like,
no violence.
The
really.
only violence so far in this movie has been the two humans going at it.
Well, and, like, Godzilla
Not any of the
smashing
kaiju
buildings.
monsters.
But, like, this level of human violence in one of these early Godzilla movies really threw me. And then Kumiyama starts going for the
money
like,
vault.
He starts going for the money shelf, the money cabinet. And then Godzilla shows up. He just starts walking towards the building.
Yeah.
And then Hiro pulls out a gun and point blank shoots Kumiyama in the back of the head and kills him.
Mm-hmm. And
And I'm
Kumiyama dies in a pile of money, and man, what a way to go.
Yeah, he just falls over in this pile of money and, like, blood all over his face. And I'm like, oh my god. And then Hiro starts running out of the building. He, like, fills he takes a coat and he fills it up with money. And he starts booking it out of the building. And then Godzilla smashes the building and buries him inside.
And I think that's the last time we see Mr. Torahara in this film, isn't it?
He comes back. No, he
Does
lives somehow.
Does he? Because I don't remember seeing him at all after
You
this
see
scene.
him one more time later in the movie, and it's wild. He just shows up.
Okay, I'm excited to hear about when, because I somehow missed that. I just thought that was the last time, and I'm like, I really thought there was going to be more with that, but okay.
No, he shows up one more time, but he doesn't do much.
Okay.
So Godzilla continues to be drunk, and he gets to the egg. He just fucking smacks the shit out of the egg cage with his tail and knocks it over.
Yeah, I'm unclear as to does Godzilla want to kill this unborn egg?
That is my question exactly. I don't know why he wants the egg.
I don't know why he's doing a lot of what he's doing.
He
in
tears.
this one.
I don't think he knows either.
This is an aimless Godzilla in this film. He just kind of bubbles about.
He seems like he's high and he's looking for a snack, and there's a bit where, like, he does the low angle, like, glaring down at the egg, and he just keeps looking at it like he's hypnotized by this egg, and it kind of just seems like he's gonna eat it, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe it looks like a big brunch to him.
Yeah, he's just looking at this thing. Or maybe he's going, what the fuck is that? Like, maybe he's wondering
maybe he's
what
also
this
asking
is.
the same questions as us. Maybe he's like, did Mothra lay this? How in the hell did Mothra lay this egg?
Legally, whose egg is this?
Do I have a claim to this egg?
Can I ask my lawyer friend about this?
Yeah.
And then he's, like, staring at this egg, and Mothra just fucking flies in and just starts beating the fuck out of Godzilla.
And bats him on the head, grabs his tail, and starts dragging his ass.
Starts dragging him along, starts knocking him over with these big, like, she flaps her wings and it makes this big hurricane, like, winds, and knocks him over. He gets back up. He doesn't seem that bothered by the wind. It's kind of like knocking him over. He's trying to hit her with his atomic breath, and she's like, knocking him over so he can't shoot her.
I think at one point she shoots like a yellow poisonous pollen in his face or something.
Yeah,
but that doesn't seem to do much.
Poison gas. And then she grabs him by the tail and just starts dragging him around. He gets up at one point. She, like, just starts getting his face with her, like, clawed feet, and he's reacting like I would react if a moth flew at my face. He's just, like, freaking out and
Yeah.
swiping
His
the air.
claws are, like, right in front of his face, just frantically swiping.
The guy in the Godzilla suit, we're making fun of how Godzilla's acting. He's doing a great job of making this Godzilla just feel like he's panicking.
Yeah, like, he's only got so much motion or whatever, but he's definitely got the, Godzilla feels very human to me in this, which makes sense since it's a human suit, man.
Other thing being, the Mothra puppet looks great.
Yeah,
Like,
I liked
Mothra
it a lot.
looks so good.
She looks kind of like a bumblebee moth. Like she's got kind of like a
kinda
yellow-black
does.
pattern to her, and she's got big blue eyes.
And her eyes like light up, and then they like turn off later in the movie. They look
She's
cool.
got like almost like a sideways mouth, I noticed.
Yeah, you got like big pinchers.
Yeah.
Which we see come into play later with her babies. But so Godzilla's just getting his ass absolutely handed to him. He gets knocked over, and she just keeps like buffeting him into the ground with her big wings and like spraying poison on him.
Like,
and he's just freaking out.
He's like a turtle that got knocked onto his shell, but he doesn't have a shell, so he's just writhing around on his back.
And getting knocked over. Yeah. He's like trying to hit her with the atomic breath. And then he finally lands it, and it burns her wing and knocks her to the ground.
I don't even think it knocks her to the ground, does it? I think she just kind of flies away back towards her egg.
It knocks her to the ground briefly, and then he goes over to get her, and she knocks him over again. She just, like, tips him over. And then she's dying at this point. I'm not sure if it's because Godzilla hit her, or if it's just her pre-existing conditions.
Her pre-existing, she laid a giant egg the size of
Godzilla
herself.
has managed to land one hit on her. And so she flies over to her egg and like covers it with her wings, I guess to shield it and hide it, and maybe to like transfer her life to it, because her eyes go out. Like they turn, the light in them turns off, and the egg starts to like glow.
And then, meanwhile, kind of like while this is happening, because it cuts back and forth, Godzilla kind of wanders. And I wanted to ask you about this, Nick. So he wanders away, and the Japanese like Air Force attacks him and shoots him with a missile, and his head catches on fire. So I wanted to ask if that was like, tell me the trivia,
not
please.
Intended. It was
that
not
wasn't
intentional.
So his head caught on fire, like for real.
So Godzilla's head actually caught on fire for a bit there. The actor's head is lower down in the neck, so he didn't even realize at first that this had happened.
Did they tell him, "Dear God, man, you're on fire," and that's when Godzilla starts freaking out? They're like, "Get it on film, get it on film."
Well, they knew that like this was kind of the first time this had happened, of like having it so the missiles and stuff are actually like hitting him. Because like in Godzilla 2000 and stuff, the missiles are hitting him and pinging off. But at the time, they didn't really do that much. The explosions would happen near him, but they didn't really hit Godzilla because they were worried about the suit and everything.
So what are the missiles? Like, because they're what are they?
Fireworks for the most part.
They're just little fireworks?
Fire bombs that were, they did like pyrotechnics for this one, hence why his head caught on fire.
Gosh.
Also, later in the movie, the silk stuff that the baby Mothras spew out, apparently that stuff was, like, super flammable, and so they were being really, really careful to make sure it all got cleaned off before they then filmed the fire scenes, because they're like, this will go up. This will, like, just ignite.
Do you think maybe... So they filmed that before the fire scenes?
I'm not sure.
I was gonna say, because that would make sense if maybe they didn't clean it good enough and then his head caught on fire.
Possible. But apparently the suit was not terribly damaged, and the guy inside was not terribly damaged.
So did they hose him down, like, with fire extinguishers? Because they filmed it.
So.
They filmed it for a minute. Like,
it goes out on camera.
Maybe not a literal minute, but you could see, you could watch this guy's head, I guess, actually on fire.
And then the fire seems to go out on screen, so I don't think they
just filmed it long enough that the problem solved itself.
Exactly.
All right.
Did
he get, do you know anything about, like, if that actor got hazard pay or anything for that?
Well, he kept doing it for years after this.
Okay,
like, this
so
guy
he's like,
loved doing Godzilla
occupation
stuff.
of the job, I guess. Occupational hazard.
I'm so excited. Like, we haven't gotten to any of the ones that have crazy stories about things that happen to the guys in the suits, but we'll get to those. But yeah, the guy did actually catch on fire. This is not the only time this will happen in Godzilla history.
Man, okay, yeah, I definitely wanted to ask about that.
So yeah, it gets caught on fire, and then they hit him with some electrical towers that don't seem to do a whole lot. And then they go, all right, we're going to do this again. And they drop 2 nets on him they're big nets, but they're not that big compared to Godzilla. They drop one, and then they start hitting him with more lightning, and then they drop another one.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of repeat shots of net dropping.
And Godzilla just falls on the ground, he's rolling around, and then they, like, the military overloads one of the, like, energy generators for the lightning, and it explodes. And then Godzilla just gets up, busts everything up, and then just keeps going.
Yeah.
Did you notice the fact that the Godzilla fighting the military stuff goes to nighttime shots, and then we cut back to our heroes with the Shobijin, and it's daytime again?
I had assumed it was jumping back and forth, like this was earlier that same day. I just figured it was jumping back and forth between the two, so we knew
That
what was
makes
going on
more
in both locations. I didn't
sense, I
think it was
suppose.
necessarily the next day.
I was
But-
like, have they been listening to the Shobijin sing this song for like a day?
You know, that's delightful that they got a day-long Peanuts performance.
I mean, people would pay good money for that. So Godzilla decides that he's gonna go to Iwa Island, I guess. And everybody freaks out because there are 10 school children and a teacher there that have never been mentioned before.
Yeah, that seems like a very small population for a whole island,
I
because
think
this
they're on
island...
like a school trip.
Oh, is that what it is? Is it like an abandoned island? There are buildings there.
I don't know. Maybe everybody evacuated and these guys didn't get the memo. I'm not entirely sure. I'm also less sure why, again, our news heroes go, we gotta go save these kids. I'm like, I don't think you guys are the ones who need to be doing this.
I was also wondering how they knew Godzilla was even gonna go to that island. It seems...
And why is Godzilla going to that island?
Yeah, it's a...
He just decides that's where he's gonna go.
Yeah, and they don't even give it, like, a reason, like, oh, like, there's another egg on that island that Godzilla wants to eat or something.
Godzilla
or like,
has forgotten about the egg.
There's a nuclear power plant on that island that Godzilla is attracted to. There's, like, no lore reason why he should veer off of this course.
He wants to go kill those
go to this
kids.
I guess Godzilla really wants to kill these 10 children.
Yeah, so our heroes go to this island mostly just so they have something to do, and that's kind of my big problem with this movie. Our human leads have no place in this story. Like, they just keep shoving themselves into the story.
They're there to keep reminding us what the theme is, which I will lay out more coherently at the end of our synopsis, because that's what they do at the end of the film. But they just are here, I think, to tell us what the theme is, in case we thought there wasn't one.
So, our main heroes go. Mothra is taking her sweet time to hatch. There's, like, lights start flashing inside the shell, like there's a rave going on in there, like she's at the bamboo club.
Yeah, they're singing her awake.
And then the shell breaks open, and there's 2 Mothra babies.
The two Mothra
beagle
larvae.
caterpillars.
Yeah.
So, a couple of fun facts about this. Firstly, in the original Godzilla, in the original Mothra movie, the Mothra, like, puppet suit thing that was one of these larvae was fucking massive and had 8 puppeteers in it.
Oh, really?
These ones were far smaller. They were like, what if we just make some little animatronics?
Oh, so they're
And roll
animatronics?
I think there's a guy in them. They're puppeted for part of it. I'm not 100% sure. I know sometimes they're puppets. I think sometimes there's a guy on them. I know they're on wheels, and sometimes you can see the wheels. But yeah, these little larvae roll out. They've got little blue glowing eyes. They got little pincher mouths. There's 2 of them, and they start swimming out to this same island. Because I guess they know to kick Godzilla's ass, not just go back to Infant Island.
Yeah, I was curious about that, because everybody was very convinced that that Mothra, when they hatched, was going to destroy everything on its way back to Infant Island. And instead of doing that, the twins are like, what if we just go fight this Godzilla?
I guess it's because it's the spirit of the same Mothra, and so she's like, well, gotta continue this fight, I suppose.
Okay. So it's like the cause transferred.
The second bit of trivia, so my dog Cooper, podcast listeners, I have a dog, he's very sweet. It's a big, real pain in the ass. His name is Cooper. Cooper hates all animals on TV. If he sees a horse or another dog or a cow or something on TV, he hates it. He'll start freaking out. He'll jump up. He'll like threaten to jump at the TV. He doesn't do it for humans. He doesn't do it for like vehicles. It's only animals. And so my girlfriend and I have what we call the Cooper test to see if a thing looks enough like an animal on TV. So, like, he's gotten pretty good at recognizing what is and isn't an animal. And I will tell you, the Mothra caterpillars, they count as an animal in my dog's eyes. He was freaking out about these caterpillars. Godzilla, fine. Mothra, no problem. But these two caterpillars, I had to get my dog out of the room. He just kept jumping at the TV every time they showed up.
Interesting. Boss did not react to them. Boss reacts to a lot of animals. Yeah, I have a dog named Boss, and he reacts to a lot of animals on TV, but he did not react to them. He does get violently angry when a Dodge Ram truck comes on, and it just seems to be Dodge Rams. I don't know why. He doesn't react to any other vehicle. I don't get it.
I will say, Cooper reacted to Cake, the cat from Fiona and Cake recently, who is a round cartoon cat, and somehow he realized that was a cat. I'm like, I don't know. She doesn't sound like a cat. I don't know how that clicked in his brain, but good job, animators, and good job, costume designers of Mothra versus Godzilla. So, the Mothras show up, and the two Mothras roll up, and Godzilla sees them and kind of just starts freaking out. He's really not into these caterpillars being here. He shoots down his atomic breath to like make a wall of fire so they don't get him. And then they both kind of split off in two directions and start sneaking towards him through these kind of big rocky mesas. And then they both just start... So one of them sneaks up and it's just watching his tail swing around, and then its little pincher mouth just bites onto the end of Godzilla's tail.
Yeah.
And he freaks out. He's flipping this thing
He
around.
does.
By
This
the
is
end
the
of his
most
tail.
he's ever panicked. This is like Oscar-worthy amounts of panicking he does.
It must be so painful. Godzilla looks like he is in agonizing pain, just trying to get this thing off the end of his tail. He's like smashing it into rocks. He's just freaking out. And then the other one shows up and starts spraying this like silk silly string at him. Mm-hmm. And the other Mothra lets go of his tail at this point. It moves into position, and they both start spraying him with this like binding silk.
Yeah, they've got the hit and run method down. They're hitting him with this, then getting behind a rock, and then hitting him again.
It's a cover-based shooter. They're just leaning out, firing, and leaning back in. And Godzilla can't do anything about this. Even though we see in this scene, Godzilla melts two boulders with his atomic breath.
But it stands no chance against this.
He can't get past their cover, which is a boulder.
Yeah, for some reason he does not think to melt the boulders they are hiding behind. Apparently his atomic breath does nothing against this silly string silk they got going on.
Godzilla's getting all tangled up by this silk.
You know what?
Fully cocooned.
I really, really wish I had done the Vinny Pink Eye thing for these. I really wish I would have counted the amount of times it just showed them the same shot of them just shooting string at him, because it is a comical amount. Anytime I'm like, okay, I get the picture, they shoot more string at him, they would do it again, and I'm like, okay, I really get it, guys, you don't have to keep showing this. And they would do it again, I'm like, surely this is like the end of the fight now, right? Or something's gonna happen. They're leading up to something.
And he's just getting more and more covered.
He's just more and more covered. That's the only thing that changes. It keeps showing shots of them popping out and shooting shit, and then it shows Godzilla more covered.
It feels like it's basically just 5 minutes of... like that it's just that on a loop for like 5 whole minutes.
If you thought this was gonna have like a redeeming ending climax to this fight, it doesn't, because he gets fully covered, trips, and goes into the ocean, and that's it. And I was like, this fight has the same feel as if you had gotten... I feel like this...
He got jumped.
I feel like, you know what I feel like? I feel like Godzilla actually kicked their ass like 20 times, and then they kept having to rage quit and save Scum until they figured out the trick was just...
It's like when you cheese a boss.
Yeah, it definitely has a cheese to boss fight feel where you just found one move that worked and you just kept spamming
You
that
found
one
the corner
move.
of the map where he can't get to you.
Yep,
And you just spammed your attack. See, that's a really... Yeah, they spammed the FromSoft boss. See, I loved the idea that... Because I also think it's so funny. It's like, oh, Godzilla fell into the ocean. You know, that place where Godzilla lives. That doesn't seem like the way to deal with it. I kind of took that as Godzilla just got sick of it and wanted to go home.
Yeah, maybe he just needed a nap
He's
after
like,
all that.
I am concussed. I am high. I didn't get my egg. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I'm still really tired from fighting. What was it? Was it King Kong that was the episode?
Yeah, it was
before?
King Kong.
He's like, I'm still really tired from that Kong battle royale.
So I'm just gonna go to bed. I swear. Here's the thing. This is also why it's really funny, because sometimes Godzilla is like this unstoppable, dangerous force. Like, you will see in these movies, Godzilla is a badass. And then sometimes Godzilla is this.
Is Godzilla ever mid? Because it feels like that's a pretty extreme spectrum. He's either really badass or he's just a stumbling Three Stooges skit.
Godzilla 2000 was kind of mid Godzilla, honestly.
I thought that was a cool fight at the end.
It was pretty cool. It's not as cool as what he gets. He's not doing any fucking, like, Power Rangers style takedowns. He's not doing any Mortal Kombat moves where he does that in some of these movies.
Oh, okay.
Godzilla gets acrobatic in some of these movies.
I'm excited.
But yeah, so Godzilla falls into the ocean, and then the two Mothra babies start swimming off to Infant Island. And all of our heroes just are kind of like, bye! They're just waving at them as they're going.
They speedrun all loose ends.
Some point. Yeah, they save the kids, I guess. I didn't even write in my notes that they saved them. Like, it just happens.
Yeah, they save the kids. The twins are riding off on the backs of the larva. Our heroes are waving goodbye, and one of them was like, "Wait, shouldn't we stop them and like give them a proper thank you?" And I think the ending line that really highlights the overall theme of this movie, that the humans are here to... It's the humans' only purpose in this movie is to tell us, and it says, the only way we can thank them is by building a better world based on mutual trust.
And then that all happens, and then Junko just goes, bye!
Yeah,
she just starts waving again.
Bye!
She's just like,
Sayonara.
yeah, bye! Oh my god, I loved earlier when the Shobijin start flying away. They're like, sayonara, sayonara! Just like leaving. It's like, good luck with that egg, bitch!
Yeah, good luck with all that. That was a lot.
So yeah, they fly off, or they swim off. Our heroes wave at them. Godzilla's, I guess,
taking
in the
a nap
ocean,
or whatever he's doing.
untangling himself.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the movie.
That's it. That's literally it.
We talked a lot of shit. This movie is really fun.
It's good. Also, I loved it.
I didn't mention, Hero just sort of like gets pulled out of the rubble at some point. It's like right when our heroes are like about to go off and save the kids, he like stumbles out. And he's like covered in blood and debris, and then they're like, "Oh, you're alive," and he's like, "Yep," and that's it.
Okay, so there's no justice for anything he was trying to do earlier this film.
Absolutely not.
Okay. He exists. They could have just not had him. They could have just had Mr. Kumayama been the bad guy, I guess, and get crushed by Godzilla. They did not need to have some higher CEO businessman. He served no purpose,
But then who would Mr. Kumayama get in a bloody fist fight with?
That's true.
Godzilla.
Yeah, that would have been way cool.
If there was any Godzilla that you might be able to fist fight and win, maybe it's this one.
Yeah. Maybe if Mr. Kumayama just had, like, some silly string, he'd be okay. He might have stood a chance.
I find it so funny, because, like, Godzilla, as I've mentioned, is really strong in some things, but some people get really, really, like, serious and try hard when they're talking about, like, power scaling Godzilla and, like, how strong he is based on other characters, and I'm like, sometimes he's just a goofy guy, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes he trips and breaks his face on a castle.
You know, but doesn't that make Godzilla relatable? Like, there are some days I feel like I could take on the world and I'm pretty badass, and then there are some days where, like, I put on like my shoes wrong, and I'm like, I've been doing this for 30 years. How did this happen?
Jay, there's a little bit of Godzilla in all of us.
That's true. We learned that last time.
We learned that last time. Well, speaking of things we've learned, everybody, it's time for the connecting theme.
Mm-hmm.
What is the connecting theme between Jersey Shore and Mothra versus Godzilla? As we well know, the writers of Jersey Shore wrote every episode to tie in with a particular kaiju movie, and this is the one. And so, we know what the theme is, because it's obvious. Jay, why don't you go first?
Is that why it's so obvious?
Yeah, it's so... I'm not putting mine off.
Okay, well, I think that I took away two connecting themes.
Wow.
The first one was the kind of the more obvious ones, I suppose, was that they really hammered it in the end of Mothra versus Godzilla is about mutual trust. So, you know, the people of Japan have to trust that Mothra would defend them from Godzilla if they kind of worked with her to get her egg back. And I kind of connected that with, I suppose, that theme of mutual trust as, like, Snooki choosing to stay. I know she played a very small part in the episode that we watched today, but, you know, I think it does take trust, you know, if you've got kind of, like, a bad perception of, you know, I shouldn't say she's got a bad perception, but if you've got this preconceived notion that, like, nobody around you really likes you or wants you around, you know, and one of them, you know, Sammi kind of reaches out and kind of gives the olive branch, and she's just got to kind of have trust in her roommates, you know, that they're not going to keep hating her, and she's got to kind of lean into the trust of the experience of staying in the shore house, and so I don't know, I kind of connected mutual trust with that. You think you'd agree there?
You don't think that the mutual trust you were talking about would have been between Angelina and JWoww with their boyfriends?
No, I don't think there's a whole lot of mutual trust going on in that situation.
Mutual trust.
No.
I think that's a good connecting theme.
I had another one too.
What's your other one?
What's yours?
Okay, well, my connecting theme is I think both of these stories, both of these epics, really, have themes of greed and selfishness, and those wants leading to infighting and ultimately to one's downfall.
Oh, okay.
We have Koyama and Hiro with their whole infighting over what to do with the egg and money and all of that, and how that leads to them beating the shit out of each other, and then one of them dying and the other one, I guess, living but losing all relevance and losing his fortune. And then we have the entire situation crash out, which is because he's, you know, selfish desires to have, to basically have Sammi and wanting to keep her to himself and, you know, insist that he wasn't intimidated by Ronnie and was not interested in Ronnie.
Yeah.
All of that ultimately led to him, you know, having his whole life crushed.
Yeah.
And also, you know, you could say that there was some selfishness and infighting coming from Ronnie and Sammi too, to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I did also kind of have a Mike and Ronnie theme as my second theme, which was my second theme I chose to connect was a stacked fight. In which case, the situation I likened to Godzilla and Ronnie is the Mothra.
This is maybe the only time the situation could ever be compared to Godzilla.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I mean, I guess he is a horrifying monster who sometimes shows up and ruins people's life along the shore.
Oh, Nick, you be nicer to the situation.
The situation, I'm sure, will be good. I say most of this in jest.
The situation will be human. How about that?
Well, we just talked about how humanizing Godzilla is.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of situation in all of us.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Well,
that's quite the statement.
Let me rephrase. The situation wants to be in all of us.
Maybe less so now, but back then, definitely.
Oh, yes. Okay, all of this is... I don't know what he's like now. I haven't been looking into that. I am viewing the situation in a time capsule.
Yeah, again, that kind of draws into, like, we are watching a show from 2009 and
By the
the
end
early
of
2000s,
this,
so
I will know the situation fully, and I will love and respect him, I'm sure.
I don't know if you'll know any of them fully, but yes.
Well, I will, because we'll get their cameo, and we'll talk
We'll
to them.
ask them. We'll ask them
We'll
to
get them
fit
on the
their life
show.
story within the 30-second cameo they record for us.
I'll say situation. Don't listen to any episodes of this show. Don't listen to any of the things I've said about you.
I think it'd be a lot easier to just not pay him $300 and tell him you have a show out in the world.
No. We can get him to buy one of our t-shirts.
Should we, I gave you shit for commercializing too early, which I do think you did, but...
I'm not gonna make any of these t-shirts.
Okay, you're just having fun. Cool, I want to have fun too.
No, I'm
now.
expecting you to make the t-shirts.
I don't know how to draw.
They all have words on them, Jay. You don't know how to type?
No. Why do you
Oh,
think I'm
shit.
doing audio medium?
Oh no, Jay makes a lot of good points.
I think we should get booty shorts. I love Godzilla or I love Mothra.
Team Mothra, Team Godzilla booty shorts.
Yeah.
And then when you put your butt next to somebody who has it, it's Mothra versus Godzilla.
I don't know.
Maybe you have Mothra V, and then you have S Godzilla, and then when you put, you get next
then
to
it makes
somebody,
sense.
it says
It's
Mothra
coherent.
versus Godzilla.
It's coherent
For
when
couples.
Yeah, it's his and hers. It's his and hers Godzilla versus Mothra panties.
Exactly. The hers are the Godzilla, and the his are Mothra.
Mm-hmm. Or vice versa.
Or vice versa.
Mothra was appealing to women, Nick.
That was the joke.
Mothra.
We're gonna flip it around.
Oh, okay. They are gonna be panties, though. Sorry, they're not gonna be panties. And boxers.
Both sets will be panties. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you gonna tell us what movie we're doing next time?
That's
Did you
right.
choose
I
one?
knew I was forgetting something. Sorry, I was just trying to figure out a way to compare the episode of Jersey Shore with two worms spraying white spray everywhere, and I just couldn't think of anything.
No.
Yeah.
Who are the two words?
It was a dick joke, Jay. I don't want to have to spell it out.
Two dick jokes in one episode? Oh my.
On Disney Plus?
On Disney Plus?
Whoa. Guys, it's late when we're recording this.
It is.
All right, what we're doing next time.
Yes.
Next episode, we are going to be doing Jersey Shore, episode 3. I don't know the title of it. Do you
Shoot,
know
I
the
can
title of Jersey Shore, episode 3?
I sure could look it up right now.
Well, while you're looking it up, I will tell everybody, all the listeners at home, we are going to be watching maybe the oldest movie Jay has ever seen, because I think we've gotten a pretty good grip on Godzilla, and so we will be watching the original King Kong from 1933. A movie that came out before Godzilla was even a thing. One of the earliest kaiju movies, and the introduction of probably the second most famous kaiju ever. Because I think Godzilla and King Kong are the two that everybody knows.
I am such a big any Kong fan, King Kong, Donkey Kong, I'm there, you got me.
Yeah. This is the first member of the DK crew.
Why wouldn't it be the KK crew then?
The KK crew?
King Kong crew.
Well, because that's where that's the crew Slider already beat them to that.
Who?
KK Slider.
That is way later than either King Kong or Donkey Kong. For our one Animal Crossing fan.
We will get we will hop into King Kong next time. I'm very excited. That is a very historical movie. Has some really neat old special effects and some very dated depictions of a number of different things. It'll be a good time. And Jay, what is our next episode of Jersey Shore called?
The next episode is called Good Riddance. And as a little teaser, the Hulu episode description is, after a night at the clubs, Polly and Mike have to juggle multiple groups of girls, and mayhem breaks out when a fight erupts at a bar and one of the housemates goes down.
Oh shit. Throwdown. I'm gonna be honest, that sounds very similar to the last episode. I'm looking forward to seeing how it's different.
Oh, Nick. Oh, this is gonna be, I'm gonna warn you right now, this is gonna be a pretty heavy episode.
Oh no.
I think I know which one this is. And
well, King Kong is a pretty heavy movie, so
I think when you watch this episode, you're gonna be like, I need to watch the next episode right now.
Oh no. We're growing ever closer. I think I said that episode 5 might be when we watch Godzilla, the original Godzilla, but putting it off because that's like a real fucking movie. And so is King Kong. So, Jay, we might have to actually, bring our A game next time, not whatever the hell this was.
Yeah, and if
this was our A+ game.
If you're wondering why we didn't do any reviews for Mothra versus Godzilla, it's because Brad the Bum couldn't even hate on this movie.
That's true. We're not going to do the reviews every time. Part of it's because I was lazy and didn't want to look them up. But also, this movie's generally considered to be pretty, well-liked in the Godzilla fandom. And, fun, good reviews aren't fun to read.
I just miss Mr. Bum.
I also miss Mr. Bum. Mr. Bum, email in.
And you know what? I'll miss all of you. Until next time!
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Okay,
I'm gonna a catchphrase to end the podcast with.
My catchphrase was about to be, "I'm stop recording right now."
I'm stop recording right now, and my catchphrase can be
I got nothing.
I got nothing. Good night, everybody.